Hello everyone, Chepandis, Cheputelsu Ledu Kadu. My name is Shubham Sagar, and today we'll talk about Environment and Geography 50 Most Important Current Affairs Part 1. I've already made first part of polity, so there'll be 6 modules as we have discussed earlier. Polity and governance will be one module, environment and geography will be another module, third module is science and tech, fourth will be economy, fifth will be society and culture, sixth will be IR, international relations. 6 modules, each will have 50 most important current affairs of last 1 year. So yeah, and again, we are not just reading the current affairs, we are also reading the concepts associated with them and how UPSC has asked PYQs related to them. And we will solve a lot of PYQs as well. My name is Shom Sagar. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and this is my Telegram channel. I do Hindu analysis every day, guys, Monday to Saturday, rather 8 a.m. live. So I upload Hindu analysis PDF every day, again Monday to Saturday, in this Telegram channel. So you can join this channel so that you are means continuously or regularly updated rather than reading all articles at once. Right now, this is good for revision purpose, but ideally you should be doing your current affairs daily. Cool, sir. So let's start with the first article of the day. Let me check whether everything is fine or not, and then we will do environment also in 4 parts. So first part, this today's part, they will contain 13 most important articles. And again, this is one that does not mean this is the most important article. All 50 articles of environment and geography, they will be equally important. So 25th June 2025, SDG ranking came, and Sustainable Development Index published by UNSDSN, United Nations Sustainable Development Solution Network. This has been created by United Nations to ensure that whatever 17 goals and 169 targets are there under SDGs, SDSN is created to ensure countries are able to achieve these goals and targets, and SDSN will publish reports, etc., and they will tell the exact reality, and they are telling a lot of realities in this global SDG ranking. For the first time, we are in the top 100. We are at 99th rank, and that is actually a thing to celebrate. We are improving when it comes to achieving our SDGs. And guys, please remember all the 17 SDGs. We'll have a look at that. So India has ranked 99, or you can see here, first time in top 100. Anything first, your first love, your first crush, your first kiss, everything is important, right? So first time in top 100 of SDG index. Who publishes it? UNSDSN. Remember these facts, they are important. We are better than which countries in Asia? Two countries, like two major countries. And what are those two major countries? We are better than Bangladesh, we are better than Pakistan. Oh my god. And we are worse than Bhutan, Nepal, Maldives, and Sri Lanka. But yes, as our honorable PM sir says, achhe din aayenge, good days will come, and we will be better than these countries. Awesome. If you see the score, the closer you are to 100, the better you are. If you attain 100, that means you have attained all the goals, 17 goals, 169 targets. India's SDG score is 67, not very far from 100, but still a long way to go. Not very far. So again, let's focus, guys. And China is 49th, US is 44, so they are doing good. But yes, we will be a Vishwaguru when it comes to this ranking, and will be top one day. But the only caveat is Modi sir should remain the PM. Only then we can become top, right? So SDG index. Let's focus, guys. Let's focus. SDG index, and you can see the India's progress in this Amrit Kal. We have done a lot of good things. 21 to 25th. And we are improving here. So again, it's good. Generally, when you see these index, World Hunger Index, Global Hunger Index, this and that, and global gender gap report and all, most of these reports we top from the bottom, and then government is like, nah, all these reports are false, this and that. No, we are improving, but yeah, we generally talk from the bottom. Here it's a good thing which has happened. So again, SDG index means see progress towards achieving 17 goals. Remember those 17 goals, guys, we have discussed. Score of 100 represents full development. All these 17 goals are equally very important. In many exams, they have directly asked SDG 13 is what, 14 is what, and all these related to climate change and environment, they become more important. 13, 14, 15, and all. So have a look at this. 5 is gender equality. 5 into 2, can you people do CSAT? Oh my god, 5 into 2 is 10. 10 is also equality, related to equality. So these, and again, 1 to 4, these are also very important. Poverty, hunger, health, and quality education. You can use them in your means answer. But this 50 most important article is basically from pre-perspective. We'll have a separate discussion on mains, but yes, will help you anyway and anywhere and everywhere in pre as well as mains. Global SDG progress, according to this report, only 17% of SDG targets are on track to be achieved by 2030. We are way beyond, like, world is not posing a good picture when it comes to achieving SDG targets. Top performers, European nations and all, they're doing good. 19 out of 20, top 20 countries are from Europe. But yes, India will be there one day. So challenges faced by top countries in this climate change biodiversity loss. Who published it? UNSDSN, Sustainable Development Solution Network, led by economist Jeffrey Sachs. Very good. Let's solve some question so that we can remember it. MCQ. So consider the following statement regarding SDG goal, SDG index. Just pause me right now and then try to solve me and then try to solve me. Try to solve this question and unpause me. So I made lemon tea, but I have given jaggery in this. We call it in Hindi good, and it tastes so awesome, guys. So again, third is wrong. India is not ranked higher. India is ranked lower than China and US. They are in 40s. We are at 99th. So third is wrong. If you eliminate third, you will get the answer A. A, 1 and 2 only. Very good. Who are good boys and girls? You people are. Sustainable Development Report SDR is published by which of the following organization? And the answer is Chipandis. So the answer is UNSDSM. Very good. Next article. Now again, you will see a pattern here. The way I have arranged these articles from importance like perspective. So I will tell you, you will see a pattern here. And what is the pattern? Let's say we are reading Sariska Tiger Reserve. At the same time, read about Satpura Tiger Reserve also, if it is in news. And let's say if Kaziranga is in news, read them at the same time. So read all Tiger Reserve, National Park, Wildlife Sanctuary at the same time. So in this part, you will see, like I will just show you. So Sariska we will read right now, the second article, and you will see a interconnectedness. And that's how you should read things also, guys. Like this one, third article is Satpura Tiger Reserve. We will do that. The fourth will be Kaziranga, and so on and so forth. Because they are in news, so they become very important. How important? Very, very, very important. So again, mining operations. Government has allowed mining operations around Sariska Tiger Reserve, and Congress is not very happy with it. We'll not go into the political connotation of this thing, redrawing the boundaries to allow reactivation according to different political experts. This is happening, and government is favoring economic development over environmental conservation. Already Sariska, now many people they get confused between Sariska and Satpura, guys. Don't get confused. Sariska is in Rajasthan, oh my god, and Satpura is in Madhya Pradesh. Let's first of all have a look at these tiger reserve, etc. So, oh my god. Look at these tiger reserves. So, Sariska Tiger Reserve here, Rajasthan. Satpura Tiger Reserve here, Madhya Pradesh. Remember these? They are not same, but different. No money, no honey. So, Sariska, Rajasthan, Satpura, Madhya Pradesh. So, they are different, but they both are in use. So, we'll read about it. Sariska Tiger Reserve, there was a time when they did not have any tiger. I will give you another example. Satkosia Tiger Reserve. It's a tiger reserve. Do check out whether it has any tiger right now or not. So there were some scenarios when Satkosia Tiger Reserve had zero tigers. So this has happened. Sariska also faced that issue. Then, some tigers were brought from, I think, Ranthambore, etc. to Sariska. And even in Panna Tiger Reserve, which is in Madhya Pradesh, they faced this issue. So Sariska and Panna, tiger relocation happened here. We'll talk about all these things. So these are the things which are important rather than the political connotation part. But yes, this government is pro-development, this current government, but it should not mean that they become anti-conservation and all those stuff. Conservation, oh my god, environmental conservation is also a very important aspect. So tiger population wiped out by December 2004 due to rampant poaching. This has happened, and then tiger relocation was done, and it was successful. Currently, tiger population is 48. Oh my god. Jairam Ramesh again. Here, Congress leaders they are saying that if you keep on doing all mining, etc., again it will impact ecological conservation of this particular region, which is anyway very, very sensitive. It will be ecologically devastating for this region. What is important from exam perspective? Where is Sariska, Rajasthan? And again, it was declared a tiger reserve in 1978, Project Tiger 1972-73, and under this, the first tiger reserve was Jim Corbett, if I'm not wrong. Do check that out. So they can ask you that they can say that Sariska was the first tiger reserve under Project Tiger. No, it was not. Project Tiger is 72-73, and Jim Corbett was the first tiger reserve. So yes, and if you know where is Jim Corbett, which state, you can write it in the comment section. First, again, relocation happened from Ranthambore. It was successful. It became the first reserve in the world. Oh my God, anything first is very important, as we have discussed earlier. So to successfully relocate tigers, along with Panna also successful relocation happened. And it contains Kankuwadi Fort, Pandulpol Hanuman Temple. From culture perspective also, they are important. They can ask you now. UPSC, if they want to make a very tough question, they can ask you where is Kankuwadi Fort, in which particular tiger reserve it lies, etc. Where is Pandupol Hanuman Temple? Why? And you may feel like, oh my god, there are so many forts, there are so many temples. How we will remember it? Sariska is in news. That's why they're asking anything and everything related to Sariska. So you have to keep it in mind. It will be a tough question, tough for everyone. Here is Sariska, tiger relocation from Ranthambore to Sariska. Very good. Tiger reserves in India, have a look at this particular image. You have to look at it multiple number of times, just like you look at the image of Angelina Jolie, Monica Bellucci, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise running. So same way you have to have a look at this tiger reserves of India multiple number of times. How many times? Multiple. So consider the following statement regarding Sariska Tiger Reserve, MCQ. So again, have a look at all these options. Do option elimination. Chepandi, Cheputilsu Ledu, Kadu guys. That means pause me and solve this question. Who are good boys? You people are, and girls. So again, consider following statement regarding Sariska Tiger Reserve. So first is correct. Let's first try to see which statement can be wrong. Sariska is not the first reserve in India to implement Project Tiger. We have discussed Jim Corbett. So third is wrong. Try to do option elimination, guys. Read all statement. These kind of questions can be tough or tricky because they are four statements. You're like, oh my god, how will I solve all these statements? So you do option elimination. Third is wrong. Just eliminate third. See, you got the answer A, 1, 2, and 4. Really good. Which of the following tiger reserve witnessed complete local extinction of tigers followed by a successful reintroduction program? We have just discussed. The answer is pause me right now, unpause me now, Sariska and Panna. Very good. Third article. Again, what we are doing, you see the pattern here, parallel study. When you read PM, you read CM. When you read president, you read governor. When you read parliament, you read state legislature. Same way, when you read one tiger reserve Sariska, you read Satpura. That way, things are interlinked. Your mind is not getting exerted too much. Parliament and state legislature. Che Pandi, Che Pautan Chole, Dukadu, Vadakam, Solunga. Tiger found dead in with paw missing in Madhya Pradesh, and where it happened. So we are very, very sorry about this tiger. But from exam perspective, what is important? Where is Satpura Tiger Reserve? It is in Madhya Pradesh. Very good. And then there is a word, National Tiger Conservation Authority. They conduct all India tiger estimation every 4 years. These are the facts which are important. NTCA created under what? WPA, Wildlife Protection Act 1972, which was amended in 2005-2006. NTCA. Who is the head of NTCA? MOEFCC, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. When you're reading NTCA, at the same time read about NBWL, National Board for Wildlife. Who's the head? Prime Minister, sir, who's involved in so many things. So that's how you remember stuff, guys. That's how you do parallel study. So tiger was found dead. We are very, very sorry about it, and we don't like it. Satpura Tiger Reserve, located in Madhya Pradesh, declared a tiger reserve. Read all these points. It is a partner. This is important. UNESCO. Where is the headquarters of UNESCO, guys? If you know it, post it in the comment section. So it is a part of Panchmadi Biosphere Reserve, which also includes Bori Wildlife Sanctuary and Panchmadi Wildlife Sanctuary. So generally what happens, let's say there is a biosphere reserve. National Park, Wildlife Sanctuary, you have more restrictions in National Park compared to Wildlife Sanctuary. Or generally Wildlife Sanctuary, you're more concerned about protecting certain animals, etc. National Park, both flora and fauna. A biosphere reserve can contain both national park, different permutation and combination of national park and wildlife sanctuary. Maybe a biosphere reserve will have two national park, one wildlife sanctuary or something like that. So it's a superset. You can consider biosphere reserve as a superset. National park and wildlife sanctuaries, they are subsets. Oh my god, really good. NTCA, we have discussed. Created by WPA 1972, amended in 2006. Statutory body under MOEFCC. Headquartered New Delhi. Chairperson is important. So many times they have asked. PM is the head of NTCA. No. MOEFCC. MOEFCC is the head of National Board for Wildlife. No. PM is the head of National Board for Wildlife. So yes, remember these facts. They are very important. How important? Very, very, very important. So NTCA established under which of the following? The answer is WPA 1972, amended in 2006B. Which of the following is considered following about NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Authority? Have a look at all these statements and try to solve this question. Man, this has become my, in Hindi we call it takya kalam, something which I keep on saying every time and any time. So NTCA, the third statement is wrong, right? PM is not the chairperson. MOEFCC is the chairperson. Just remove B and D. You're left with A and C. So you just have to check the second one. Conducts. Yes, it is correct. It conducts All India Tiger Estimation every 4 years. So the answer is A, 1 and 2 only. Very good, very good. Next article, fourth most important article. Famous for its rhinos, Kaziranga records higher diversity of grassland birds survey. Birds in survey. And again, this is, I think, the first survey which is happening. They have wet grassland. There are dry grasslands in Rajasthan, wet grasslands in Kaziranga. And again, if you go back and if you see that map, that's why everything is together, guys, so that you revise them at the same time. Kaziranga, Manas, Nameri, Orang. UPSC has already asked PYQ on Dampa. Solve that PYQ. UPSC has already asked PYQ on Naam Dafa. Solve that PYQ. So these are important, guys. So Kaziranga, Manas, Nameri, Orang. Oh my God, what have I done? Okay. Just give me a second, guys. So yes, let's focus on Kaziranga now, and we will again focus on the conceptual clarity, also what UPSC generally asks questions related to. So first, grassland bird survey. So Kaziranga is very diverse. It has a very diverse ecosystem rather, because Assam, if you look at Assam, so it receives a lot of rainfall. So Kaziranga had grassland also. It has tropical lands also. It has plains also. It has so many things, hills also. So first grassland bird survey happened in Kaziranga, conducted between March 18 and May 25. Anything first is important. 43 grassland bird species were found according to IUCN. There were some critically endangered, IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, etc. So it was created in 1950s. It's an NGO independent of UN, and it publishes Red Data Book where they categorize flora and fauna, critically endangered, etc. So critically endangered means they're on the verge of extinction. So Bengal florican, anything critically endangered and endangered, they become very important. So here we are talking about the birds. Bengal florican, they are in news now. You have to remember what is the IUCN status of Bengal florican. Flora. Guys, be serious, guys. Ecological importance, it includes grassland, forest land, wetlands. It has so many things. But here the grassland is wet grassland because it receives a lot of rainfall, unlike Rajasthan, which has a dry grassland. What is the property of grassland? It has a lot of grass, as the name suggests. Rainfall is not that much, otherwise it would have become a forest. And one property of grassland is, which was asked by UPSC 1920, 21 or 24, I don't remember. Fire happens regularly. Via that they regulate grass, less rainfall, seasonal rainfall, grazing activities, all these things ensure that grassland remains grassland. Okay, cool. So you can read all the other stuff, report released by this and that. That is not that important. These are the things which are important. Let's solve some questions, guys. Chepandis. PYQ asked by UPSC in 2015. So with reference to IUCN, have a look at this question, guys. I sometimes speak like Shankar Mahadevan, so I have to take a break here. Really good. Cool. So with reference to IUCN and sites, I know we have not discussed about sites. We'll discuss about sites. Don't worry. So, but even if you don't know anything about sites, via option elimination, via what? Via option elimination, you can solve this particular question. Very. Ooh. So do option elimination. We know IUCN is not an organ of UN. I have told you it's an independent NGO. So if you eliminate first, you will get the answer. 2 and 3. Even if you don't know anything about sites, which is about, as the name suggests, they regulate what can be traded, which kind of flora and fauna can be traded, restriction, etc. They are in news. Something happened related to Ambani, and there something. We will talk about sites. Sites is also in news. We'll have a discussion on that. So again, let's solve this MCQ with reference to Kaziranga National Park. Again, use option elimination, guys. Questions may seem tough, but environment is very important. From you, if you want to clear UPSC prelims, environment is the most important part. Why? Because IAS, IFS, Forest Service, they have the same pre. So environment questions are very, like, there are lots of questions related to environment. Cool. So yes, consider the following statement composed solely of grasslands. So if you do option elimination, we know it. We have just seen it has grassland, it has wetland, it has so many things. So first is wrong. Now you're left with B and C. Check the third one. It has the highest diversity, not dry grassland. It has wet grassland. Dry grassland, Rajasthan. It receives rainfall. So third is wrong. The answer is B. Two only. Very good. What good? Very good. Which of the following are characteristics of grassland ecosystem? We have just discussed what happens, why it is a grassland, why it has not become a full-fledged forest. What do you think is the answer, guys? Japanese, guys. Chepo. Guys, why do you people act childish? So, which of the following are characteristics of grassland ecosystem? Dominance of grass over trees, obviously. So first has to be there. High rainfall, if it will be high rainfall, it will become a forest, guys. It is a grassland because it does not receive adequate rainfall. So second, you will eliminate. If you eliminate second, you will get the answer A1, 3, and 4. Even if you just know the basic concept of grassland from geography perspective, you can solve this question. They have fires. Fire. Okay. So yeah, the answer is A1, 3, and 4. Fifth article. Fifth most important article, 30th August 2025, Ice Age Dragon Era flood rediscovered in Western Ghats. UPSC has asked questions on Western Ghats. Western Ghats extend in how many states? 6 states. Oh my god. Remember 6 states, not 5 states. So Gujarat is one, Maharashtra is another, Goa is third, Karnataka is fourth, Kerala is fifth. Tamil Nadu is six. Oh my God. So six states. Himalayas around 10 states are UTs. So these are the facts which are actually important. So there has been a dragonfly which has been rediscovered here. Croco, Themis, Erythrea. Not that important. Keep it in mind. Just for the sake of, because it is news. But from this article, what is important is Western Ghats. We know about Western Ghats. It's a very hottest hotspot. Hottest hotspot means it has very high degree of endemism. The species, some of the species which are found here, they're found nowhere in the world. It's so awesome. I just want to go there and live. But I will have issues with network connections, and then I will not be able to do my Hindu analysis. So, odontologist, odonata, oh my god, odontologist, my phonetics friend, who are like, sir, pronunciation is wrong. Pardon me for that. So these are the people, like, you read about ornithologists, study of birds and all. So, or odontologist. Oh my God, this is so funny. They study insects. That is the point which you have to keep in mind. So they have found this Crocothemis erythrea in the high elevated regions of Western Ghats. So there are two varieties of this Crocothemis dragonfly, Cervilia and Erythrea. So it was believed that this Erythrea is in Himalayas, not in Western Ghats, but now they found it in Munnar high ranges, and they're like, no, it is there in Western Ghat as well. Not that important. Keep it in mind. But the thing which is actually very important here is that Western Ghats and the features associated with Western Ghat, because Western Ghat is in news now. So again, and who are odontologists and all those stuff, that is important. Maybe they can ask you that. Odontologist. Oh, I love this word, guys. Tongue twister it is. So again, study confirmed this and that. You read all these things. The important part is this: Western Ghats, how many states they cover, and five, 6 states. Himalayas, 10, around 10 states and UTs. Keep these points in mind. This will help you in option elimination when you're solving questions. Western Ghats, Gujarat to Kerala, spread across 6 states. Very important. You can see all the things. Sahyadri, Nilgiri, UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is one of the 8 hottest spots. Oh my God, hottest hotspots. Why? Because species found nowhere else. There's so many. It has a very high level of endemism, as we have discussed. You can read all the other stuff we have discussed, and we'll talk about them some other time as well. PYQ UPSC 2017, guys. Have a look at this question. Chippandi Chipatal Sulidu Kadu. So they are asking you, and we have discussed this. So by using option elimination, you can solve this question. Who can solve this question? You people can. Very good. So in India, Himalayas is spread over 5 states only. Wrong. First is wrong. Eliminate. You're left with B and C. Western Ghats spread over 6 states. So second is wrong. So you're left with 3 only. Even if you don't know anything about Pulicat Lake, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, you can still solve it. Now your homework. Research on Pulicat Lake, which kind of a lake it is, brackish lake, saline lake, freshwater lake. So, and if you know it, post it in the comment section. Research on Pulicat Lake, research on the options which UPSC has asked earlier. Very, very, very important. Sixth article. Oh my God, what? Sometimes I press something and something happens. Just give me a second, guys. Uh, you know, yo, teen shop. So center cannot cite DM Act changes to deny loan waiver, Kerala High Court. So you have disaster management, environment, disaster management act. Under that disaster management act, there is a section 13 under which loan waivers can be done. A center, if they want, let's say some disaster happened in a certain area, and they are the people who were suffering from that disaster, they took some loan, etc. Those loans can be waived under section 13. Now government has done away with the section 13, and they are saying that we cannot provide loan waiver to people who have suffered under Wayanad landslide. Kerala High Court is like, and High Court is saying that no, this is not done, guys. Center, you also have Article 73 of the Constitution, which defines your executive power. So you have a lot of executive power. You can use Article 73 to give loan waiver to the people who were impacted by Wayanad landslide. So this is what Kerala is saying to center. And what is important from exam perspective is section 30 of the 13 of Disaster Management Act is associated with what? Again, related to loan waiver, loan repayments, etc. Center can recommend relief measures. And center has repealed it. Center is like, no, we have repealed it because it has been used, or let's say misused a lot in the past. So center is saying that we cannot do this loan waiver thing for disaster affected person because section 13 is already repealed. In that regard, Kerala High Court is saying that, sir, you have Article 73 of the Constitution, which gives you so much extensive executive power. So even if section 13 is repealed of Disaster Management Act, you still can use your power under Article 73. So this is also important. Articles, they are in use, like in polity I covered Article 311. You can watch that polity and governance part 1. So these articles, they also become very important, guys. So 73 is about union's executive power. They can ask you Article 73 is associated with what. So in that regard, you have to look into it. So what is important from exam perspective in this article? Article 73 of Constitution, Union Executive Power. Section 13 of Disaster Management Act related to loan waiver and what center has, like what power center has when it comes to relief measures related to loan repayments. All these things are there in Section 13. It is no longer applicable. Center has repealed it. So keep these points in mind. Important. Disaster management, key part of environment, and disaster management is a key part of GS Mains Paper 3 as well. Let's solve this question MCQ. Consider the following statement regarding Disaster Management Act. Section 13 in Power Center. You read all these statements and use option elimination. So second is wrong. It is not currently active, right? So if second is wrong, you're left with A and D. First is correct. Empowered center, but they have repealed it. So A, one only. Article 73 associated with what? Che pandi che pu. Relates to extent of union executive power. C. Which of the following best describes the term suo motu as used in judicial proceedings? What is suo motu? Like Kerala High Court has taken this case suo motu. If I'm not wrong, if you see that, if you read this, suo motu case taken up by High Court regarding the devastating landslide in Wayanad. So in that regard, what do you understand by suo motu? A case taken by court on its own initiative, that is suo motu. C is the answer. Seventh article. How can cat bonds plan for a natural disaster? What is this cat bond? Has it something to do with Katrina Kaif? Katrina Kaif issued some bonds. See, in India, like in South Asia only, so many disasters happen, so much destruction happens. Government spend. I'm just taking a pause. I speak a lot. See, I will tell you my reality. I'm a very big introvert in real life. In like when you teach, you have to speak, right? I'm a PCM. 11th March is my birthday. So PCM people, they are generally I've read about them. I did not believe in horoscope thing, guys. We're just having a chit chat. We're just taking a break. But but I've seen this. There was a friend of mine in Hyderabad I met, and she made me, and she was like, "I am Virgo and all." And then I realized that okay, these things matter, and I've seen so many traits which a piece in generally shows. So again, guys, focus. Cat bonds plan for natural disaster. What is the basic rationale here? Catastrophe bonds. So India spend a lot of money in this tackling disaster mitigation, adaptation. So like this article is saying that issue cat bonds. What is the basic rationale of cat bond? It's just like a simple bond. How the bond works, government can issue this bond. Let's say the bond is of 1,000 rupees. Bond, what is your name? James Bond. Same bond, so rupees 1,000 bond. And because it is a disaster bond, so again, let's say maturity period is 10 years, 20% interest or 30% interest, please. So what will happen? The person who is buying this bond, he will get 30%. That means 300 rupees every year for 10 years. And at the end of 10 years, he will get the principal amount 1,000 back. Why are you paying such large interest? Because let's say a disaster happens. If a disaster happens, then the whole principal amount or a big portion of this principal amount will be used for that disaster. And the person will not get the full principal, or maybe he will not get any principal. He will just get the interest. So that's why this is how this catastrophe bond or CAT bond will work. You will get a lot of interest, but there will be a risk also that if a disaster happens, maybe some portion of your principal will be gone, or all your principal will be gone. But since this whole CAT bond or catastrophe bond is not associated with market risk, so maybe there is a probability that disaster will happen, but there is also a probability that disaster will not happen. And in any which way, it is not associated with market risk, so to say. Market fall, shares and rise and fall. So in that way, investment in CAT bond is lucrative. Also, you're getting higher interest. So that's how this CAT bond will work. And that's what this article is saying. After major hurricanes in US, they issued CAT bonds to spread disaster risk to global financial market. In that regard, government does not have to spend their whole money rather. They will take out the principal amount of these people who will invest in these bonds, and the risk will be diversified. Lesser money will be utilized by government. The risk will be shared among these investors. So how CAT bonds work? Sponsored by sovereign nation. India wants to issue a CAT bond. They will take the help of World Bank to, World Bank will act as a guy who is spreading the message worldwide that India has issued CAT bond. If you want to buy it, buy it. So if a predefined disaster occurs, investor may lose part of the principal, justifying higher interest rates. So hope you understand how CAT bond works. CAT bond. Global status of CAT bonds. Since their inception, $180 billion worth of CAT bonds have been issued globally. People are buying it. So why not extend it to India? You may feel like, sir, India, they have to give 30% interest. So that will be too much money for Indian government. So maybe issue a South Asia cat bond. All the countries of South Asia, most of the countries except Pakistan, because Akshay Khanna, there is a movie Dhurandhar where people are talking about Akshay Khanna's acting and all. So maybe except Pakistan's other South Asian countries, they can come together, issue cat bonds. Then the interest money which India has to give, it will be divided among the other countries. That way, the risk will be diversified. So relevance of cat bonds to India, we have disasters, we encounter disaster. India is exposed to them. So cat bonds can help government to shield public finance, and the risk will be diversified. Money, less government money will be spent. Government already allocates $1.8 billion for disaster mitigation. Some of these money can go to cat bonds, or India can sponsor a regional South Asian cat bond, where let's say India is giving 40% money, other states and countries can come together, Nepal, Bangladesh, Maldives. It's not like disaster happen only in India, tsunami, earthquake, Nepal, etc. They bear a major brunt of it and all those stuff. So yeah. Again, it's an awesome article, guys. Hope you understood the basic rationale of cat bond and how cat bond will work. Risk and challenges. Poorly designed cat bond. So let's say some disaster happens. In these cat bonds, it is written that if an earthquake happens greater than 6.5 magnitude on Richter scale, only then we will you will extract money from this cat bond. So if a disaster happens of 6.4 magnitude, lots of people died, then you cannot use the money from cat bond. So these are the problems. Poorly designed cat bonds may not pay out despite major damage. Lack of disaster can raise concern. So let's say there's no disaster which happened, but you keep on giving the interest to these bond holders, cat bond holders. So these are different concerns. Again, it will help you in pre as well as mains, but we are reading it. But again, here we have discussed from every perspective. You can write a proper mains answer on cat bond now. So again, you can read all these things. Hope you understood it. Awesome article, tricky article. And again, this is a summary how it will work. And we have discussed this. Let's solve some questions. Cat bonds are attractive to global investors primarily because this is one of the trickiest articles which we have just read. Because this is technical, guys. Oh, just give me a second. This is technical, and you can make a mistake in these kind of articles or these kind of topics. So why cat bonds are attractive to global investors? Just because they are unrelated, as we have discussed, unrelated with financial market risk, guys, uncorrelated or whatever. Like unlike other bonds, they are related with how market is performing. Here it's not about market, here it's about disaster. If disaster happens, they will lose some money, but they're already gaining a lot from interest. If no disaster happens, they are in a win-win scenario. So B is the answer. Which of the following is correct between distinction between bondholders and shareholders? UPSC has asked PYQs on it. So, you may have read these concepts. If you haven't, revise it. So here, economy, environment, disaster management, everything is merging. So bondholders, people who hold bonds, they get money. They're one of the first people who will get their money. Let's say some liquidation happens, some company go bankrupt. So bondholders will be the first one who will get the money after selling their assets. So they have fixed income. After everything, or most of the people have been paid off, shareholders will get their money if there is anything left. They have residual income. So bondholders have fixed income, shareholders have residual income, because shareholders are in a way considered the owners. Not bondholders are the owners, shareholders are the owners. So this is wrong, this is wrong. Not shareholders are paid before, bondholders are paid before. Shareholders have legal right to it again. So the answer is C. Bondholders have fixed income, shareholders have residual income. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Spread the words. And again, if you want these PDFs, you can get these PDFs at 199 per module. So let's say this is environment we are talking about right now, environment and disaster management. There'll be 4 parts of it. So when, let's say, if you send me a message at 9650, that's what I want environment module, then in that scenario, you will get 8 PDFs. What do I mean by 8 PDFs? And all these, like once you have seen these videos, these PDFs will be like a cakewalk for you. So 8 PDF means first part, this PDF, the annotated PDF where I'm writing stuff. Same way with 4 parts and 4 annotated PDFs. So 8 PDFs you will get. So you can get 6 modules. Every module is 199. So polity module 199, environment, whatever you want. If you want all 6, you can do the multiplication CSAT part. So by this way, you can buy these modules. The other way is you become a part of UPSC Lifetime Success Bundle, which is at 6,999. But here you will be getting everything. These current affairs, all 6 modules, mentorship, history through NCRT series, which is very important from both pre and mains perspective. We have discussed PYQs and all. Again, means complete material, doubt sessions, annotated Hindu analysis PDF, means answer evaluation program. Again, the most important program of all, because if you don't write, you will not get a rank. So you can get all these, and let's say in future I launch some more course which will be a part of success bundle, you will keep on getting it. You don't have to pay additional price. So there are 2 ways of you getting these bundles or modules. I have just told you. First is you just get whatever module you want at 199. If you want 6, you just do the multiplication, or You can be a part of Success Bundle. You will get the modules as well as the other programs, as well as the future programs. No hourly, monthly, or annual subscription ever. This is a lifetime bundle. But again, we don't have to make it a 5-year plan, cracking UPSC, but hope you understood the basic rationale. You can also donate if I'm adding to your knowledge base at this number. ठीक है? Very good. Next article, guys. Eighth article. Again, this is also a tricky article, like the CAD bond article. I'm a little tired. So center defense, new coal plant rules cause them cost effective. Now, why this article is tricky? Because there are two articles which are interlinked here. FGD, flue gas desulfurization units. So for understanding this, we have to do a recap. So if you see this particular article appeared on 15th July 2025. And the article which we'll talk about now is 16th June. So we'll go 1 month back. Something happened on 16th June. So flue gas desulfurization units was in use. Flue gas is the gas which gets released from coal-fired thermal power plants, which can contain SO2 and other gases. So flue gas, and SO2 is in a way very, very harmful for us because it causes respiratory issues, it causes global warming. It also leads to creation of particulate matters, which goes inside our heart and all, leads to so many different things. So for treating SO2, you have something known as FGD system, flue gas desulfurization units. So something happened on this particular date. There are two articles, guys, and that's why this is very important and very technical also. So flue gas, hope you understood what is flue gas. If you did not, you have a look at this. It's a byproduct of combustion of fossil fuels, mainly contains CO2, SO2, nitrogen oxides, particulate matter, etc., etc. You have to treat it, otherwise it will create a lot of issues in environment. So June 4 Hindu reported that, Ajay Sutsar, he's saying that we should end the policy of FGD units in all coal-fired plant. Why? Because FGDs are very expensive, and plus there has been survey which has been done in like thermal power plants which has FGDs and thermal power plants which does not have FGDs. They were not many appreciable differences were seen between them. Plus, what there are other things also, like India's coal. It has high ash content and low sulfur content. Ash. Ravichandran Ashwin. So, because of which anyway sulfur emission is lesser. And the most important reason is FGD is very expensive. Cost benefit ratio. When you read different topics, you also read about cost benefit ratio, right? So again, cost benefit ratio of FGD unit is very, like, it doesn't make any sense. What does FGD do? So remove sulfur dioxide from flue gas, a byproduct. You can see all these things. There are different types of FGD. React limestone with SO2 and a reaction will happen, SO2 will be gone. Wet limestone, again, seawater treatment. Seawater absorbs SO2 and then it's treated before discharge. So all these are different methods of FGD system, how it will remove SO2, because it is one of the most potent global warming gases, causes respiratory issue, leads to formation of PM 2.5, which is so dangerous for our human health. And again, you can see here, they have given some numbers and all those stuff. So SO2 is dangerous. Status of FGD. Government has, in 2015, they were like all fire power plants has to have these FGDs, but then the deadline was extended. And now a 2025 study is saying that let's scrap it because it doesn't make any sense. The cost benefit ratio is very high. It is very costly. 1.2 crore per megawatt. For 70 now 97,000 megawatt, you would need 97,000. It's too much of a money, guys. So money is a major factor, plus the other factors which we have discussed. That there's no alternative to FGDs. We need FGDs if you want to treat SO2. But as we have discussed, our coal anyway contains low sulfur and high ash content, and not many changes were seen in the environment. So the government is not saying we will remove FGDs from all coal-fired plants. Current article, back to the present, this article, like 1 month after in July this article appeared, they're saying that in certain, they are saying that in 2015 the mandate was FGD will be in all thermal power plants. Right now they're saying that it will be in certain thermal power plants where it is like the city is very polluted. So Ministry of Environment and Forest, they are saying that exempting most thermal power plants from FGD units is a scientifically justified policy shift. It's not like we're weakening environmental regulations. And yeah, they have given numbers. Only 8% of India's coal power plants have FDGs and all those stuff. New order, only 22%. Still, there will be some plants which need to have these FGDs. They have to treat SO2, but not all. Those located in city with a history of poor air quality, because India has a lot of cities with very poor air quality. So now ministry is saying that SO2 has limited role in PM 2.5. They're giving justification, and they are saying that India's annual SO2 standard is much higher than or stricter than Japan, EU, and Australia. 50 microgram per meter cube, and you see. Japan is allowing more SO2. EU is allowing more SO2 than us. So we anyway have stricter guidelines, and it's not like we are saying get away or get rid of FGDs from all. We want it, but you know, and it's not like no major difference was found in no significant difference in SO2 levels were found between cities with or without FGD equipped plants. So that in a way strengthens the point what government is trying to say, and we have discussed all these points. Indian coal has low sulfur content and high ash content, Ravichandran Ashwin content, which naturally results in low SO2 emission, guys. You can read all the other points in your free time. Under the revised rule, okay, cool. Now let's solve some questions. What is the primary purpose of flue gas desulfurization units in thermal power plants? Again, these are the kind of articles which if you know, you know. If you don't, it's very difficult to deduce things in these articles. So the answer is to cut SO2 emissions, sulfur dioxide emissions. Very good, yeah. Which of the following statement is correct regarding Indian coal as per the article? It has, pause me, unpause me. It has low sulfur and high ash content. B. Next article, ninth article of the day, is the plastic industry trying to influence green policy? So here this article is talking about something known as greenwashing, which UPSC has already asked a question on greenwashing. So tobacco industry, plastic industry, they will try to show that tobacco is injurious to health, but still they will promote ad where they will show how cool it looks when you're drinking tobacco and all. Plastic industry, they will say that some of the plastics are biodegradable and all those stuff, when in reality they are actually not biodegradable. So this is greenwashing. You're trying to show yourself cleaner, environmentally sound when you actually not. So both industries prioritizes profit, and here this article is talking about plastic tobacco industry, blah blah blah. Shift responsibility onto individuals. We will, smoking is injurious to health. We will sell it. It's up to you whether you want to drink it or not. Tobacco ads include disclaimers. You can see. Similarly, plastic producers blame consumer for poor recycling. They talk about recycling, reduce, reuse, but we know plastic is non-biodegradable more often than not, and they're incinerated and all those stuff, burnt at high temperatures. So again, greenwashing tactics. Tobacco marked light and mild when in reality it doesn't make any difference. Plastic falsely marked biodegradable, compostable, when in reality most of them are non-biodegradable and non-compostable. So now in the global north, this phenomena is happening in food products also. Restrictions and the standard of food products in European countries, etc., is very strict. So there, these companies, any company, food company, etc., you will see they will cater to strict standard. But when it comes to global South African countries, Asian countries, here they will, sorry, they will relax their criteria and all. So same thing is happening with plastic industry. Regulations are becoming stringent in global north. They're focusing on global south, sub-Saharan African countries, countries which lie south of Sahara. Egypt is not a sub-Saharan African country, guys. Morocco is not, because they lie in the region of Sahara. So countries lie which lie south of Sahara. They are sub-Saharan African countries. Multiple exams have asked questions related to which are sub-Saharan African countries. So keep it in mind. Okay. So you can have a look at all these points in your free time. India's plastic waste scenario: informal sectors handle 70% of India's recycled plastic. We have plastic waste management rules 2016, which talks about extended producer responsibility. How it is the responsibility of producers to take care of their plastics. Then in 2014, government launched a scheme, Namaste scheme, which is basically for sanitation purpose. National Action for Mechanized Sanitation Ecosystem, which aims to formalize and support these workers, people who are working in hazardous sector, including the plastic sector, etc. But mainly for scavenging, manual scavenging works which they're doing. So they will be provided with safety gear and all those stuff. So Namaste scheme, we will talk about Namaste scheme in detail later on. That's a different thing altogether. So plastic waste management rule, do remember when was it passed? 2016, they passed a lot of rules. That year maybe they were like, let's do something tufani today. Aaj kuch tufani karte hain. That means let's do something awesome today. And in 2016, they have solid waste management rule, this rule, that rule. So there is an extended producer responsibility. Plastic manufacturers are responsible for the waste they produce. But are they actually responsible? It's just in theory. Let's solve UPSC 2022 PYQ, guys. Greenwashing. What do you understand by greenwashing? That's why we have read this article. What is the basic rationale of greenwashing? చెప్పండి లేదు కాదు guys. Greeny. So yes, conveying a false impression that a company's products are eco-friendly and environmentally sound when it actually is not. Sub-Saharan Africa includes which of the following countries? Pause me and pause me. Egypt is wrong. Left with A and B. Morocco is not Sub-Saharan Africa, so eliminates. So the answer is B, 1 and 3. Article 10, forest rights of tribal not settled for Great Nicobar project. So government is going ahead with a great, a big project in Great Nicobar Island. So Andaman, Nicobar, find out that degree channel which separates this and that. Nicobar Islands, Great Nicobar. So here they want to build a transshipment port and so many things they are trying to do. Transshipment port, which is acting as an intermediary port between the source port and the destination port. And so many other things. So in Great Nicobar, it's a very highly endemic region. Not like Western Ghats, but it's still very endemic. It has Galicia National Park, Campbell Bay National Park, which has some species which is not found anywhere else in the world. And many people believe that if this Great Nicobar development project goes on, many species will go extinct rather. And earlier, this region was under CRZ 1A, Coastal Regulation Zone 1A, which is the stringent zone, or which is the most stringent category under coastal regulation zone, where no construction activities can go on. Now, government has bypassed it. This is a evolving development, guys. It is continuously in news, so you have to keep a track of this Great Nicobar project and what else is happening. And I'm telling you the latest development which has happened. This news appeared, let me see, tell you this. So this news appeared on 23rd August. After that also this news appeared, and I'm telling you the after things, or like after effects, what has happened. So this article is all about people in Great Nicobar, the Nicobari people. They're saying that our consent was not taken. Generally, when you're making these things, there are forest regions under Forest Rights Act. Gram Sabha has the authority to decide, individual and community forest rights, and in that they ask people of that region. So Nicobarese people are saying that our consent was not taken. The local administration of that region is saying that we have taken your consent. Nicobarese people are saying that no, our consent was not taken. Then the administration is saying that we don't need to take your consent under PAT 56. So there is this Forest Rights Act, and then there is this PAT Act. What is this PAT Act? So Protection of Aboriginal Tribes Acts. Under FRA, you need to take consent of Gram Sabhas and all, but under PAT, administration can divert forest land without asking Gram Sabhas. Protection of Aboriginal Tribes Act. Now the point which is not clear is diversion of Great Nicobar lands were happened under which provision, PAT or FRA. So that is an ambiguous scenario. But one thing which is not ambiguous at all is that government is very serious about this Great Nicobar Island project, 72,000 crore, and many people believe that it will be an ecological destruction or destruction of that particular region. It's a very ecologically fragile and sensitive region. Project includes transshipment port, airport, and again, I'm telling you, we'll discuss this, we'll solve some question, but keep a track of this art means news, guys. It's a news all the time. Every 6-7 days, something new will happen here. And you will see how some regulations are being bypassed. So in a later dated, again, you can read all these things. They are just saying, Tribal Council of Great Nicobar, that our consent was not taken. Administration is saying that we took their consent. Many people believe that it is a fake certificate which they have issued. So these things happen, and now the PAT and the FRA thing. So council dispute this. Again, it's a very ambiguous scenario. I don't want to say anything on it, but yes, again, a debate between environmental conservation and economic development. And you can see here, government is favoring economic development over environmental conservation here. But as I keep on telling in my Hindu analysis, in mains, like when we talk things from mains perspective, also there's a midpoint where both can happen at the same time, which is known as sustainable development. So we have to think about the midpoint when it comes to this Great Nicobar project. Extinction of flora and fauna, how we are going to tackle that. Let's solve some questions, guys. MCQ, protection of PAT 56 differs from FRA in which particular way, guys? Chipundis. Cheputelsu ledu kadu, guys. Kadu. My nose is flowing. Just give me a second. There are two things which I love a lot. What are those two things? One is Jandu Balm, Pida Hari Balm. That means Jandu Balm can take away all of your pain. Guys, focus. So protection, PAT 56 differs from FRA in what way? FRA allows diversion of forest land only after settlements of rights and Gram Sabha consent, and like PAT gives powers to administration for diversion. B is the answer, guys. UPSC 2013 question. Under Forest Rights Act, who will be the authority to initiate the process for determining the nature extent of individual or community forest rights of both? The answer is, pause me, Gram Sabha. They will initiate the process. They will determine who will get, individual rights or community rights over a particular forest land. So 11th article, EQLI report has published or has been published in September, and they said that all of India breathes bad air. It's not like we don't know about it, but this article gives us an excuse to read about AQI, air quality index. What are the different parameters? What pollutants they are covering. They're not including CO2. CO2 is not causing respiratory diseases, guys. It is not included as one of the criteria. It may cause this and that. It is responsible for global warming, but not that much for respiratory or health. Again, just remember, CO2 is not one of the, like, what do I mean? What I'm trying to tell you here is this. This is the part which is important. What are the parameters used in India's air quality index? Six pollutants. CO2 is not a part of these six pollutants. CO is, carbon monoxide is, O3 is, SO2, NO2, all these things are, PM particulate matters are, but carbon dioxide is not. AI is a numerical scale 0 to 500. Currently, I'm making this video when? In December 2025. Delhi always exceeds, goes beyond even 500. Like, Delhi is awesome in that way. Like, we are, you know, let's say you hit a 4, you hit a 6, Delhi is like, we'll hit a 10 when it comes to AI scale. So the condition is very bad, but you people should bring Modi sir to power, and once he comes to power, he will take care of it. Or wait, he is in power from last 10 years, but nothing has changed, right? But yeah, it will change. Achhe din will come, will become a Vishwa Guru, guys. So let's focus. So again, things important. Again, you can see almost all Indians breathe air dirtier than WHO's safe limit of 5 microgram per meter cube. They can ask you what is WHO's safe limit, although UPSC will not ask that much factual, but you never know with UPSC. They can ask anything and everything. And they're saying that if Delhi works on this air, people will get more than 8 years of their life. South Asia, it's not a one state problem, guys. That's why when you read from Main's perspective, there's airshed management approach, which we talk about of tackling Delhi pollution. We can talk. You can watch my Hindu analysis for detailed analysis related to these things from Main's perspective. Airshed management means you cannot treat Delhi pollutions in silo. You have to have collaboration with Punjab's government, Haryana government, UP government, and not only in India. Even you have to have collaboration with Pakistan. You know, some firecrackers were burnt in Punjab region during Diwali. Lahore was impacted. So everything is interconnected. We have to come together if you want to tackle this pollution crisis. But Bangladesh, most polluted country in the region, you see these numbers and all. So again, airshed management approach, read about it. We'll talk about it in mains from mains perspective. Also, you can watch my Indo analysis for deeper discussion. Again, these are the numbers: particulate pollution, greatest external threat to human life expectancy. What is important from exam perspective? Air quality index, numerical scale 0 to 500. And what are the parameters? Very important. UPSC has already asked a PYQ on it. Launched by MOFCC 2014. And then what do they signify? They can ask you 200, 1 to 300 is moderate. No, it is poor. So you have to have a look at this. Even remember the color code. Not asked, but UPSC can ask, you never know. So color code and the category. These things you can deduce. The health impact part you can deduce on your own. Let's solve some question, guys. PYQ UPSC 2016 question. చెప్పండి చెప్పుదలుసు లేదు కాదు. So again, via option elimination, you can easily solve this question. So carbon dioxide we have just discussed. It is not one of the parameters. Eliminated, you will get the answer 2, 3, 4. Carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, dioxide, sulfur dioxide. All these are. 12th article, assessing India's carbon credit trading scheme targets. So here we will talk about certain stuff which no people, like none of us, many people, I hated it when I used to prepare for UPSC. I hated this thing, PAT, CCTS. And there are different things, guys. Energy efficiency, carbon efficiency, we have to understand these terms. They are important. So first of all, we'll talk about this article. First of all, let's try to focus on these two terms, PAT and CCTS. PAT, and it focuses on energy efficiency. So let's try to understand things which are energy efficient. They may be carbon efficient also, or maybe not. So let's try to understand things which are carbon efficient but which are not energy efficient. Solar energy, they emit lesser pollutants, right? But they're not energy efficient. There's variability. There's so many things which are associated with solar energy. So it's not like everything which is carbon efficient is energy efficient also. So these are two different things. PAT, perform, achieve, trade, is related to energy efficiency. You're using LED lights and this and that light, replacing the earlier bulbs and all. So energy saving certificates, they're focused on that. CCTS is carbon emission reduction. So these are two different things. They are not same. PAT and CCTS, PAT focused on energy efficiency, CCTS is focused on carbon efficiency. They are not exactly same. We'll solve some question. You will understand the difference. You have to understand the basic difference between these terms. So 14th July, government has set greenhouse gas emission targets for 8 heavy industrial sector under CCTS. This article is saying that rather than individually focusing on aluminium, cement, etc., think about all industrial sector as a whole. Maybe some sector will emit more carbon, other will emit less, thereby offsetting the impact. So article argues that ambition of carbon market targets should be assessed at aggregate economy wide level. Don't focus on individual industries and this and that. Focus on industry as a whole all eight sector as a whole, and see how much carbon they are emitting or what. So underperform, achieve and trade. PAT associated with energy efficiency, CCTS associated with carbon efficiency. Remember it. They will come again and again. You will understand carbon credit trading scheme. So we'll solve some question. You will understand what I'm saying. Energy intensity, again, they're giving some numbers, how mad these efficiency work. And again, the basic rationale is the same thing, which they're saying that we should measure success via overall reduction. Don't focus on each and every individual industry. Don't this is micromanagement, so to say. Just focus on the aggregate target, fix an aggregate target for each industrial sector and see whether they are achieving it or not. And read all these things, guys. We will solve some question. Things will be clearer. We will understand this article more from questions than from the theory part. So PAT, energy efficiency, CCTS, carbon efficiency. Let's solve some questions. Which of the following correctly distinguishes PAT scheme from CCTS? We can talk more about it from mains perspective some other time. So the answer here is PAT trades energy savings, CCTS trades carbon credits. PAT energy savings, CCTS carbon savings. C. Our energy efficiency and carbon efficiency, they're not the same. Energy efficiency always leads to better carbon efficiency. That is wrong. We have just discussed. So if you eliminate one, so now you're left with B and C. Solar power plant may have low energy efficiency but high carbon efficiency. Exactly. So second is correct. We don't even need to check for second, third. Carbon efficiency refers to reduction of energy used per unit of output. No, this is energy efficiency. Carbon efficiency refers to reduction of carbon used per unit of output. So third is wrong. So the answer is B2 only. Revise these questions. These are very conceptual questions, guys. Which of the following strategies directly improve carbon efficiency but may not improve energy efficiency? Have a look at it, pause me and try to solve this. Chepandi chepu తెలుసు లేదు కాదు guys, and do it fast. So the answer is using solar panels instead of diesel generators. D. 13th last article for the part 1. Center finalizes, oh my god, finalizes National Designated Authority, NDA. Oh my god, why they have named it like this? Okay, to kickstart carbon market. So we have seen PAT, CCTS, and this is related article, and that's why I've clubbed it together. Under Paris Agreement, you should have an NDA, National Designated Authority, not National Democratic Alliance, and they will be seeing for enabling a carbon emission trading regime under CCTS, how it has been carried out. Paris Agreement, COP, COP, what COP it was, guys? Paris Agreement. Paris. We'll talk about this. So Paris Agreement, COP21. Remember it. Right now we are in COP30, Belém, Brazil. So Paris Agreement Article 6 talked about this, and it was approved at COP29, and they will look into it. How much serious we are when it comes to carbon reduction, and again, so creation of an NDA is compulsory under Article 26. Remember COP29 also, where it happened. National Designated Authority is fine. Just remember these COP21, COP29, COP30, where it happened. Composition of NDA, blah, blah, blah. Read all these points. They will look into NDCs, nationally determined contribution. So India's NDCs, these are three NDCs, but apart from that, we want to achieve net carbon zero by 2070. Remember it. That means whatever we are emitting, everything will be absorbed by carbon sink, net carbon zero by 2070. Emission intensity of GDP by 45% will reduce by 2030 from 2005 levels, 50% power capacity from non-fossil fuel sources. This we will achieve. Maybe we have already achieved. Create additional carbon sink of 2.53 billion. You can see equivalent of a carbon sinks. What are carbon sinks? Forests are carbon sinks. Afforestation is one way of increasing carbon sink. Oceans are also carbon sink. So, but here we cannot create oceans. So we are talking about afforestation. So yeah, background. Paris Agreement, COP21, you can see all the things. Limit global warming to well below 2.5 above pre-industrial level. So what is pre-industrial level? 1852, 1900 AD. That is pre-industrial level. You can read all the points, guys. MCQ. First MCQ of the day. Not means, oh my god, what I see at the end, that's what happens. I'm all like, my mind is all jumbled up. So you see all these points. Third is wrong. Afforestation, reforestation are not the only carbon sink. Ocean is also one carbon sink. So if you eliminate third, you will get the answer A1 and 2 only. Which of the following are part of India's NDC and the Paris Agreement? Again, read all the option, guys. This may look a tough question, but you have to remember these points. They're important. So fourth is wrong, right? Net zero target by 2070, not 50. So the answer is A, 1, 2, and 3. Very good. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Spread the word. You can join this Telegram channel. I share Hindu analysis PDF every day, daily analysis. That will help you a lot in being, disciplined when it comes to doing current affairs. You can join these programs. I have already told you all the things which you need to know. Or you can join them individually, or you can join them together at Success Bundle, or you can take this bundle, which will have validity till the time you crack UPSC CSE. You won't have to renew, let's say, mains answer evaluation yearly or mentorship yearly and all. And even in future, if I include any or add more courses, which I keep on doing, so you don't have to pay anything. That will be included in this bundle. So whatever suits you, and you are your own competition. You're not competing with anybody else, guys. Just keep on, like, try to become better what you were yesterday. Like, again, cliche, but it works actually. And you can also donate if I'm adding to your knowledge base. So that's it from me. I will see you in the subsequent parts. Revise it. You will thank me later for these things. It will help you a lot. Help you a lot, a lot, a lot. Bye bye. Hello everyone. Chepandies. చెప్పు తెలుసు లేదు కాదు guys, please be serious. Today we are doing 50 most important current affairs, environment and geography, Chepandis part 2. So part 1 we have already done. You can have a look at it. These are all standalone parts. We have talked about the 13 most important current affairs in part 1, and today we'll talk some, other important current affairs. This is part 2. So again, all these current affairs, they are standalone. You can watch part 2 first, part 1 later. It doesn't make any difference at all. But do have a look at all these important current affairs. So my name is Shubham Sagar. You can connect with me on LinkedIn and transition yourself from a good boy or good girl to a very good boy or very good girl. Very good. This is my Telegram channel, guys. So what I do Hindu analysis Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. And I upload the unannotated Hindu analysis PDF in this Telegram channel by 9 p.m. so that you can revise stuff. So right now it's fine for revision purpose, but for more exhaustive details, for understanding things from both pre and mains perspective, you can have a look at those PDFs. You can join the Telegram channel. 14th most important current affairs for environmental geography. A new leaf. What has happened? MOEFCC. What is, guys? Why you people do like this? Be serious. MOEFCC, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. They have notified this environment audit rules. Why? Because see, CPCB and SPCBs, Central Pollution Control Board and State Pollution Control Boards. CPCB created by Water Act of 1974. Whoa! Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974. And then more powers were given via Air Act of 1981. Same with CPCB, they were also created by these acts. So SPCBs and CPCBs, they don't have enough manpower. So somebody has to do the audits of so many things which are happening, environmental impact assessment, blah, blah, blah. So industrial units comply with environmental regulations or not. So via this EAR 2025, Environment Audit Rules, environmental monitoring will be done via private entities, private people, just like you have in, even when you talk about, I hope you're understanding where we are going with this, to strengthen compliance monitoring, because we need it. There's a lack of manpower, especially in government agencies. We don't have much adequate manpower because government does not have money for government jobs, guys. Be thankful that you have more than 900 plus seats this time. In our time, when you people were not born, I have seen 600, 700 seats around 2014, 2015. Private agencies can now be accredited as environment auditors, similar to chartered accountants. Audits will support compliance with green credit rules. Now, what is green credit rules? So basically, let's say there are certain companies, they did afforestation, they maintain, or they did proper waste management, they treated their waste before disposing them in Ganga, etc. So for this they will be given some credits which they can trade with you know companies of other countries. So green credit rules, do remember it. We will solve some question, you will understand what are the things which are important here. First of all, concerns while preparing for future climate, you can read all these things in your free time. Important thing is CPCB, SPCB, which kind of body they are. They are statutory body, they are not executive body. Statutory executive body was Niti Aayog Planning Commission. They were executive body, they were not created by any constitutional act or via statutory act. It's a statutory body. CPCB, Water Act 1974, Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act. Wow, breathless. SPCB at the state duty level, same Water Act, and then some more power given under Air Act 1981. Remember the chronology also. Sometimes what will happen, they will give you WPA, Wildlife Protection Act, Water Act, Air Act, Environmental Protection Act. So you have to arrange them in chronological order and become a very good boy. Whoa. So this is the chronological order, guys. WPA 1972, Water Act 1974, Air Act 1981, EPA Environmental Protection Act 1986. Remember it? Very, very good. So it's statutory body. NGT, you have National Green Tribunal. We'll talk about it. We may have talked about it in first part as well. NGT is also a statutory body created by NGT Act of 2010. Whoa. Tribunal. Tribunals, they anyway we have Article 323A, 323B of Constitution, which deals with tribunals, tribu. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Guys, please be serious. Don't joke around. Primary aim of introducing environment audit rule is what? What? I love, Upiriyadi Poina. I love, Pranam Poina. No. To strengthen monitoring and compliance mechanism by addressing manpower and infrastructure deficits. Very good. Very. It's not only very good, it's really good. Wow. Guys, please be serious. I don't like this. Wow. PYQ UPSC 2018. How is NGT different from CPCB? We have talked about CPCB. Use option elimination, use common sense. Common sense is not that common, guys. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And in exam, in pressure cooker situation, you will face issues. That's why the more questions you solve, people ask me these things. Around I think 2019 pre, I don't remember exactly. I got in GS paper one, I got 114 prelims and paper 233. Remember, this is 2019 pre, guys. Now paper is somewhat more tougher, but still it was not like in our time paper was halwa means like a bhaji paper was in 2016 when they asked which is the biggest kela banana. It has so many stupid connotation, guys. But yeah, 2019 was fine. So I just tell them solve in prelims if you want to crack it. Be very precise. Solve a lot of FLTs, guys. Full length test. ठीक है, very good. So NGT established by an act. CPC no. CPCB is not created by executive order. It is also created by an act. Water Act 1974. So one is wrong. You're left with B and D. Option elimination. NGT provides environmental. Yeah, second is correct. General statement. So the answer is B2 only. Whoa, guys. Please be serious. Consider the following statement regarding CPCB established via. First is wrong. It's established by Water Act 1974. And this is the beauty. Like what I'm doing is in this 50 most important current affairs of different models, I'm giving you a lot of questions, PYQs, MCQs. So the more questions you solve, the more you'll be able to retain stuff. So eliminate one. I can see a cheaty ain't on my laptop. So A, B, and D gone. You are left with C, 2, and 3 only. Wow, guys, please don't do wow. 15th most important article, 12 September 2025. Two arrested in Kerala for killing and eating python. Python, WPA. Wildlife Protection Act 1972, Schedule 1. It is under Schedule 1. So if you do this, you will attract maximum penalties. Schedule 1 and 2, maximum penalties. Schedule 3 and 4, lesser penalties. Schedule 5, vermins, which can be culled. We'll talk about these vermins. Who can declare animals to be vermin? Central government. Kerala government did not like this thing. So they have passed their own act. Wildlife is a concurrent subject. So we'll talk about that. So Schedule 1. Then Schedule 6 is plants prohibited from cultivation under general scenarios, because if you want to cultivate that, you want or you need a license from government wants to protect those species, so they don't allow anyone and everyone to plant them. If you want to plant it, you need a license. So remember, these schedules, they're very important, not important, important. So yes, sir, you can read this. Python, Schedule 1, WPA, highest protection. Kerala government arrested two individuals from more than Binish. They are bad boys. Who are good bad boys? These two are. Both are residents of Panapuja, Mundapuram. Authorities confirmed that the accused had captured, killed, and consumed the python. Rather than the python part, remember, they can give you python lies in vermin category. No, Schedule 5, no, it is in 1. Listed under Schedule 1 of the Act, correct. Killing or capturing attracts highest penalties under the Act. Really good. So, first and second, they are correct, right? You're left with A and D. Animals under Schedule 5 enjoy no. Animals under Schedule 5 are vermins. Vermins means which can be culled. Culled means killed. Wow, guys. So third is wrong. So the answer is A, 1 and 2 only. Very good. PYQ UPSC 2020. If a particular plant species is placed under Schedule 6 of WPA, what is the implication? Chepandi's implication? Chepandi's means tell me the implication. నేను ప్రేమిస్తున్నాను. So that means a license is required to cultivate the plant. It's not like it cannot be cultivated. You can cultivate it, but you need a license. Genetically modified crops, such a plant, no. It's not like that. It's just protected. You cannot cultivate it in normal scenarios. If you want to cultivate it, you have to take a license. So the answer is Chepandis. No, the answer is A. I love you. Now match them. Schedule 1, 3, 5, match them. Schedule 1, Chepandis. Absolute protection, highest penalties. So 1 is B. Now you're left with A and C. Schedule 3, lower protection, small penalties. 2 is C. So the answer is A. Kerala, as we have just discussed, see what I have done, club together articles which are similar. So this previous article which we have discussed related to WPA, it appeared on 12th September. Wow. And this article, which is again related to WPA, but it's a entirely different article in different sense, appeared on almost 1 month after, 10th October 2025. Kerala's change to Wildlife Act. Kerala is having issues, and having issues with a wild boar, pig, and they're continuously telling center that please keep it in vermin category, please keep it in vermin category so that we can cull them. If it is under some other categories from schedule 1 to 4, then there are restrictions, right? But center is not budging to it. I think Maharashtra government also gave a plea that leopard should not be under schedule 1, this and that. Leopards are creating nuisance in Maharashtra. So, but leopard and wild boar, they're not equal, right, guys? So, Kerala government got so frustrated that wild boar is not being classified as vermin, because vermin can, the classification comes only from center, that they have passed their own act, decided to amend WPA through Wildlife Protection Amendment. Can they do that? The point is, wildlife is under concurrent list. So, if they do something, they pass an act which is contradictory to Centre's Act, it needs President assent. Do remember this part. They can ask you health, education, where it lies. If you know, where does health lie, which kind of a subject, union, state, concurrent, where does education lie, put it in the, write it in the comment section. That will help you in your revision, will help you in retaining stuff. So wildlife is a concurrent subject. When a subject is concurrent, both can make law, center and state. But if the law is inconsistent, which in this case it is, it will need presidential assent. So will Draupadi Murmu ma'am give assent to it or not? That is the point. Basically, in a way, Kerala government is criticizing center that you are not acting on what we are saying. Bill seeks to grant state power currently held by union government, especially in declaring animals as vermin. So do remember this point. Who declares vermin? Central government, not state. Empowers chief, you can read all these things. What is the background? Kerala has witnessed frequent human-animal conflicts, particularly wild boar attacks. State has repeatedly asked center to declare wild boars as vermin, but center has not done that. So they are frustrated. The other point of view here is you cannot keep everything, anything and everything under vermin, right? Try to restrict human wildlife interaction. Killing or culling is not the only route, right? So there is a middle path also which we have to follow. Buddhism, visa lame, right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right meditation, right concentration. Oh my god. I keep on saying this. Ashtangika Marg, remember this, guys. So the middle path we'll talk about. Kerala moves reflect federal discontent. It's very rare that the Draupadi Murmu will give a sign, but basically they are trying to criticize centralized environmental decision making. There should be certain amount of decentralization, and there should be a time limit. If state government is giving justification why an animal has to be kept inside vermin, central government has to look into it within a stipulated time period. It's not like Modi said, I'm going to another country right now, so I will come and I will look into it. No. So granting state unilateral power to declare vermin risks normalizing killing of animals. That is another aspect which you have to keep in mind. Amendment could shift blame from human expansion to animal behavior. So there, it's sometimes even state government's responsibility to ensure these conflicts does not happen on that larger scale. You- Killing is not the only solution, right? Section 62 of Central Act allows center to declare vermin, but is meant to prevent indiscriminate culling. It's not like anything and everything can be kept inside Schedule 5. Like Maharashtra is asking leopard to be declared as vermin. If that happens, God knows what will happen. So, question is whether Kerala's amendment retains the national safeguards or weaken them. It's basically a critique of centralized decision making when it comes to declaring vermin. Need for balanced approach. Middle path. Maintain minimum conservation safeguards. You have to safeguard certain animals, certain flora and fauna. Allow state faster, clearer procedures. Make a list of certain animals and plants, etc. Eucalyptus is an invasive species, Assassia, Cacea, whatever. So make a list that yes, in these scenarios we give you power, or even if you ask us, we will revert back within 30 days. There has to be some procedure. Promote non-lethal management tools. Killing is not the option, guys. Declaring wild boar as vermin or downgrading bonnet macaw. Bonnet macaw is a kind of monkey. It has been downgraded from schedule 1 to schedule 2. They still enjoy a lot of protection, but what used to happen was these monkeys, they used to destroy crops and all. Some farmers unintentionally used to kill them. When they were in schedule 1, they attracted maximum penalties. Even in schedule 2, they attract a lot of penalties, but still the penalty somewhat lesser. Wild boar is least concerned. In IUCN status, the status of wild boar is least concerned. But bonnet macaw, as far as I remember, it is vulnerable. So you have to protect it, right? Real danger governance failure leading to lethal shortcuts. Killing of animals is not the answer always. So there has to be a middle path. But yes, we can understand why Kerala government is also frustrated. What is important here? These schedules, which we have just discussed. Go through it. We have just revised it. And these articles are related. Read them together. This is smart study. Whoa, guys. With reference to WPA, again, we are revising 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 schedules because this is important. I can show you 20 questions on PYQ, UPSC PYQs on WPA and all. So you have to solve these questions, guys. Cheap, ooh, guys. I do these stuff so that you know because I'm not a robot. I cannot speak all the time. Schedule one and blah, blah, blah. Yes, first is correct. Schedule 5 species are classified as vermin can be hunted. Very good. Second is also correct. Second is there in all other. Schedule 6 pertain to flora and fauna rare plant species. Yes, sir. C is the answer 1, 2, and 3. Which of the following statement regarding the federal dimension of Kerala's Wildlife Amendment 2025 is correct? The answer is amendment is a critique of centralized decision making in declaring vermin species. Next article, 17th most important article, 23rd September 2025. Number of polluted river sites are showing a slight reduction. CPCB created by Water Act. You can see a pattern. Water Act of 1974. Wow, Chepandis. You know. So now here they are measuring something known as BOD, biological oxygen demand. UPSC has already asked a PYQ on it. So biological oxygen demand is how much oxygen, dissolved oxygen, microorganisms are taking to break down organic matter. If the BOD is high, that means microorganisms are taking more dissolved oxygen to break down organic matter, thereby leaving lesser amount of oxygen for other species like fish, etc. So more BOD, more pollution in an aquatic ecosystem, and that's how they check these polluted rivers. Like I was in teaching students about Magh Mela, so where people take dip in Prayagraj, Triveni Sangam. So, and many people like that Triveni Sangam, that region is has a very high amount of coliform bacteria and all. BOD is high. So whether you should take dip anywhere here, there, and everywhere, that is a question which we have to ask about. Ganga is not very pure right now, although ideally it should be pure, but it is not. So yeah, those things have to be taken care of. Those discussion has to happen. Just give me a second, guys. Shape and D's. So yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Unfit for bathing locations. 800 locations in India were found unfit. Slight improvement from 815. Reduction in most polluted river locations. CPCB monitors river health. Key parameter we have just discussed: biological oxygen demand. How much dissolved oxygen microorganisms are taking to break down organic matter. More BOD, more polluted river. Low BOD, healthy river. What is the demarcation? BOD greater than 3 milligram per liter, unfit for bathing. So, and then they have identified PRS, polluted river stages, two continuous locations in a river exceeding BOD criterion. 2023, 296 location means PRS were there. 2022, 311. So there is a reduction, which is actually good. But we India have a still have a long way to go. You people were not born in our time. There was a river in Thames in 1950s. I was around 20 years then. So and that was very polluted. Now it is one of the cleanest river in the world. We can learn a lot from how Thames, cleaning happened, and that will help us going forward. State-wise PRS, this whole polluted river stages and all, Maharashtra has highest. Remember these definition: BOD, PRS. Priority one stretches BOD almost 10 times more than the safe limit. See, greater than 3 milligram per liter and fit for bathing. And now in priority one, it is greater than 30 mg per liter, almost 10 times more. You can see here. You can see these numbers in your free time. The basic rationale is: what is BOD? What is PRS, polluted river stretches? What is the basic rationale? What do they signify? These things, CPCB created by which act? These terms are actually important. And from there, UPSC frame questions. PYQ UPSC 2017. BOD is a standard criterion for what? Chepandis or Cheputelsu Ledu? Kadu. No. It is for pollution assay in aquatic ecosystem. C is the answer. Consider the following statement regarding BOD in rivers. Read all these statements, use option elimination, guys. You may feel like there's so many questions, how we will remember all these facts and figures. UPSC does not always want you to remember all the facts and figures. What they want you to do is to do option elimination. Do, like, even if you know one is wrong, you can eliminate it and get the answer here. We know low BOD does not indicate high pollution. High BOD indicates high pollution. That means more oxygen is needed by organisms to break down organic matter, thereby there is less oxygen available for other species like fish, etc. So high BOD, high pollution. Second is wrong. Eliminate second. You're left with C. 1 and 3 only. Whoa, guys. Central Pollution Control Board constitution under which act? Now, this is not only based on this article, we have discussed it in the previous article also. You can see how I am framing articles and how I am putting articles so that you can revise things in a much more sustainable and faster manner. Whoa, guys. Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act, B. New farming technologies hold potential to stop desertification. Rajasthan, Central University of Rajasthan, CUOR, they are doing certain stuff, you know, because there is, and they are conforming to the standards of UNCCD, United Nations Convention to combat desertification. And they are trying to grow wheat in their region. Researchers at CUOR, Central University, grown wheat for the first time in the arid Thar Desert using desert soilification technology powered by bioformulation. What is the meaning of these words, soilification, bioformulation? In bioformulation, what we are doing, we are adding, microorganisms, organic matter to increase the water retention capacity of arid soil to make it somewhat more fertile. Fertile is not the right word, but you can understand. It can hold more water. It can be a little bit more productive than what it is originally. So that's what you do in solidification and bioformulation, and that will also ensure that one thing which is happening right now, you people will, you will understand this. There is a place in UP called Agra. You may not have heard about it. I'm so sorry. My jokes are dry, guys. Sometimes people don't even understand it. So it is said that, the desert or the this arid soil is coming from regions like Jodhpur, etc., from Rajasthan, and it is slowly converting Agra into a desert because of wind erosion. So this whole thing, when you're growing crops, they bind soil. They also halt Thar desert expansion into the NCR and the other regions, accelerated by degradation of Aravalli range, which we want to degrade further. We'll talk about Aravalli later. So again, changing the, you can see this. So field experiment with wheat. Use 13 kg seeds of wheat 4079 blah blah blah. Scientists modified desert sand into soil using polymers and bioformulation. Addition of, you know organisms, microorganisms, and organic molecules to increase the water holding capacity of arid soil, to change its texture, to make it a little bit more fertile, improve water retention, cross-link sand particles to create better soil structure. So you read it. I'm not reading the whole thing. I was basically, it's all about now this whole desertification thing. See, in our time, when I was around 670 years old, Rio summit happened in 1992. Whoa, Rio is in Rio de Janeiro. It's not the Rio of La Casa de Papel, Money Heist. In our time, there was a series on Netflix, guys. Netflix is a streaming platform. You people may not know it because you study all the time, right? So a Rio summit happened in 1992. So Rio is not okay. So Rio summit, Rio de Janeiro, 1992, and this is also known as Agenda 21 because they were talking about the agendas of 21st century. It's not like they were talking about total 21 agendas. All these are being PYQ solved them. So from this Rio summit, three organizations emerged. You see this: UNFCCC, CBD, and CCD. Framework Convention on Climate Change, Kyoto Protocol, Paris Climate Deal. You read about them in UNFCCC. We'll talk about them. In these 50 most important current affairs, you will gain a lot of conceptual clarity and you'll be like, oh my God, sir, you're such a good boy. Yes, I am. And then UNCCD, Convention to Combat Desertification, under which we're talking about this whole thing in Rajasthan, where they're trying to halt the expansion of Thar Desert, growing wheat and all. They are fulfilling the aims of UNCCD. So all these things emerged out of UNFCCC, but you can see they were created or entered into force in different years. But yes, in Rio Summit, the talks happened, and from there they emerged. CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, under which you read about Cartagena Protocol, Nagoya Protocol revised them, how benefit sharing will be happening, blah, blah, blah. So SDG 13 also, remember all SDGs from 1 to 17. 17 goals, 169 targets. You don't have to remember 169 targets, remember 17 goals and read this comparative analysis. It will help you a lot. Oh my God. Look at that particular slide, as Nicki Minaj would say. But yes, you people don't have to listen to Nicki Minaj. She is just for adults, people who are more than 18. In the context of agriculture, the term bioformulation refers to, wow, no, it does not refer to wow, a mixture of beneficial microbes and polymers used to enhance soil and plant growth. Very good. India's Thar desert-related soil reclamation efforts such as CUORV project are aligned with the objectives of CCD, CF, UNFCCC, CBD, Stockholm Convention, Chepandi, Cheputul Ledu, Kadu. No, CCD. CCD is the answer. Convention to combat desertification. Revise these four organizations. Stockholm Convention on persistent organic pollutants. Minamata Convention on mercury. All these words, revise it. In UPSC, you don't just solve the PYQs, you also solve the options. You read the options and you research on them. Wow, guys, please grow up, okay? Wow, wow. 19th article, 20th September 2025. UNESCO includes India's cold desert to global biosphere list. Wow, guys. So what is happening? UNESCO headquarters is in Paris, France. Not everything's headquarters is in Geneva, guys. So remember it. And what they have done under their UNESCO Man and Biosphere program, which is teaching us how we can live peacefully with environment. They have this world network of biosphere reserves. In that, India has now 13 biosphere reserve as of even like January 2026. We have 13 biosphere reserve in this WNBR. India has total, I think, 18 biosphere reserve. Out of 18, 13 are there in WNBR, which is under Man and Biosphere Program, UNESCO's. UNESCO headquarters, Paris, France. Remember these facts. Whoa! Now, what you have to do, you have to revise. Before we talk about this, you have to look at this map and you have to love it like now upiriyadi poina nuunte nitamega satyam. 30. This. See, I will tell you, I was in Hyderabad. I love my time in Hyderabad, guys. I was in high-tech city. I used to work in an organization called Narayana IS. Good times. Hyderabad is awesome. Food is super good. So yeah, and people are also very cute. Very cute. You know, people say like I'm a North Indian. You go south, you face language barrier. I did not face any such thing. I loved it. You know, a little bit old people, but I loved it. I so enjoyed Hyderabad, man. Awesome place. So there I learned some Telugu words. You know, Chepandi, Cheputin, Dukadu, Nenu, Ninu, Premustunanu. So, guys, please focus. I try to use them in my. So, 13 biospherism, Nilgiri Gulf of Mannar, you can read, see all these things. Kanchenjunga, it is also a mixed heritage site. Sikkim, cold desert biospherism, Lahore Spiti, newly added 13. You have to locate them. Nokrek, already UPSC PYQ has been asked, Meghalaya. So, all these are very important. You have to paste it on your wall. Biospherism, like, you know, you will take a map, India's map, you will buy it from a nearby stationery shop. You will locate all these 13 biosphere reserve, paste it on your wall, and you will look at it like you look at Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, Monica Bellucci. Let's hold our thoughts. So, hope you're understanding. Nokrek, solve UPSC PYQ on Nokrek. Dehang Dimang, Arunachal, Manas, Dibru Sekova, Kanchenjunga. Only India's only mixed heritage site. We'll talk about mixed heritage site later on. And this cold desert has been added now. Himachal, Panchamadi, Panna, Madhya Pradesh, Achan Kamar, Amar Kantak. Wah, wah, wah. So yes, sir. Many questions PYQs have been asked on these biosphere reserve. These 13 are very important. How important? Not only very important, it is very important with an L. I love you now, Piria Dipoina. Cold Desert Biosphere Reserve in Lahore Spiti has been added to UNESCO's World Network of Biosphere Reserve. Again, you can read all these things. India now has 13 Biosphere Reserve. As of January, February, maybe you are seeing it. Prelims is on 24th May. You may see it on 20th May. If the numbers have changed, you can write it in the comment section for other students' benefit. Cold and parallel, you can read all these things. I'm not reading. News shared by Union Environment Minister on X. I like the earlier name Twitter. Twitter was much better for X. I don't like X. Like I like the earlier name Gurgaon, Gurugram. It looks so old fashioned. But again, government, it's the duty of government. Government is not there to do development, health, education. These are facade guys. Basic work of government is to change names. That is the core attribute via which we give elect government. Change names, do religion stuff, and promote and then give 10,000 rupees just before election. PYQ UPSC 2011. Which one of the following is not a site? Do remember these words, not and not. What? Like sometimes UPSC will highlight it, sometimes it will not. In situ method of conservation of flora and fauna. In situ, ex situ, these words are really important. How important? Really, really, guys, really important. So in situ is you are not taking tigers, lions anywhere. You are preserving them in their own, like in their own site. That is in situ. Ex situ is zoos. They are one form of ex situ. So botanical garden here. It is not a in situ. It's an ex situ method. Rest all are in situ. So the answer here is B. Revised Biosphere Reserve, National Park, Wildlife Sanctuary. Generally, what happens in Biosphere Reserve? Under this UNESCO Man and Biosphere Program, we created core zone, buffer zone, transition zone to ensure harmony between people and environment. So people they can live in the transition zone, etc. Core and buffer zone, more restrictions. Core zone, maximum restrictions. Biosphere reserve generally is a permutation and combination of multiple national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. There can be 4 national park, 1 wildlife sanctuary. There can be 6 national park inside a biosphere reserve. So permutation and combination happens. Generally, in national park, you have more restrictions compared to wildlife sanctuary. So do have a look at the basic meaning of these terms as well. Which of the following Indian biosphere reserve located in Himalayan region? Look at the map. The answer is Kanchenjunga. And again, the map is very important. Kanchenjunga, Kanchan. I love Piriya Dipo. I love UNESCO headquarters is located in where? Where is it located? Inside my house? No. Paris, France. Not always Geneva, guys. People get confused, Geneva, Vienna, because we read about so many organizations and most of them are in Vienna or Geneva, but no, not this. WNBR, World Network of Biosphere, is a part of which UNESCO program? The answer is MEB. Whoa, Chepandis. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Spread the word. If I'm adding to your knowledge base, you can donate at this number. And if you want this particular PDF, you can also send me a WhatsApp message at this particular number only. Very good. Next article, 20th article. Why has IUCN red flag Western Ghats? IUCN. It's an NGO, guys. Non-governmental organization published, I think created in 1950s. And it publishes a red data book and it has flagged Western Ghats. There are certain areas, regions which are facing issues. What are those regions? International Union for Conservation of Nature. Now, here there are certain things important. Like they can directly ask you an exam. World Heritage Outlook 4 report is published by which organization? So remember IUCN. They will give you IPCC, this and that. No, IUCN. And it is assessing natural and mixed World Heritage sites. Natural heritage sites like national park, etc. Cultural heritage site which has historical significance, let's say Taj Mahal. Mixed, which has both natural and cultural significance. Kanchenjunga is the only mixed heritage sites in India. And according to this World Heritage Outlook 4 report of IUCN, which has four categories: good, good with some concern, significant concern, and critical. I think only good category goes to Kanchenjunga only. Kanchenjunga is the only one which has got good category. Significant concern, Western Ghats, Manas, Sundarbans. Solve UPSC PYQs on all of them and do more research on them. So they are of significant concern. This report is actually really important. Look at this map and revise it. I love guys. Why you always sing songs? The key threats identified by IUCN: climate change, tourism, again anthropogenic changes, invasive alien species which has been brought from outside, eucalyptus, acacia. These plants, you bring them here and then they kill native species. Additional threats: forest fire, blah blah blah, road kills, and tourism and road and infrastructure development. These are known as linear intrusion projects. Linear intrusion, when you make, drawing electricity lines and creating roads and all, so not good. They hope you're understanding. Key threats and decline in positive conservation outlooks. In 2014-17, 63% sites had positive outlooks. Now it has, again, you can read all these things. Indian side is good with some concern. Great Himalayan, Kaziranga, Kela Dev is in Rajasthan. I think Gaurav Agarwal, sir, he was a rank holder. He was somewhere from near this region, Kela Dev. Nanda Devi, Valley of Flowers. Sole good site, as I was telling you. Konchon Dongha, India's only mixed heritage site, is rated good. Whoa, very good. Why Western Ghats are vulnerable? Again, hydropower project, tourism. Now here, one homework for you. Gargil Committee, Kasturi Rangan Committee. Maybe I have already covered them in part one. Maybe I have not. I am not an encyclopedia, guys. Although I want to be a polymath. Polymath means a person who has knowledge of so many different subjects. So yes, Gargil Kasturi Rangan Committee saw UPC PYQ on that. They have talked about how much areas Western Ghat is very vulnerable. Endemic species are there, but still these things are going on. Invasive exotic species, eucalyptus. Now again, there's another homework. Invasive species, endemic species, keystone species. Revise these terms; they're important. China has 7 sites rated as best protected. We are not concerned with China that much. Just for information, remember Badan Zaran Forest, Unmi's Desert, Chengjiang Fossil Site, Mount Huangshan. Where are they located? They can ask you. Because they are in news, they can ask you. It is located in Chengjiang Fossil Site is located in, let's say, Russia and all. So keep it in mind. They are there in China. Whoa, guys. Global biodiversity importance of heritage site. Natural heritage sites, less than 1% of Earth's surface, we are talking about Western Ghats, natural sites like them, contains 20% of species richness, endemism and all. Ayushin calls, report a guide for action, let's do stuff. Check this whole vulnerability of these sites. Which Indian site has been rated as good in the IUCN 2025 Outlook? Chepandi is no. Kanchendonga National Park. A. And PYQ UPSC 2010. UNFCCC is International Trade Drawn Act. Now, this is based on, I have told you, we have discussed it when we're talking about Rajasthan. Rajasthan. I love you, Rajasthan. Ako pili po na. So the answer is B. UN Conference on Environment and Development, Rio de Janeiro. Which of the following correctly differentiate natural and mixed world heritage sites? Natural sites are recognized for biodiversity and ecosystem. Mixed sites combine natural and cultural values. One. Next article, 21st article. How do cyclones form and how they are measured? Cyclone Montha was in news. So you need to know these how cyclones form, tropical cyclones, I, then Coriolis force is needed for cyclone formation. Coriolis force is weak around the equator, so you don't see cyclone formation around 5 degree north to 5 degrees south. So there are terms which you have to keep in mind. Their names are different, like hurricanes in Atlantic and Eastern Pacific, maybe around American coast. In the Western Pacific, they are known as typhoons. And in Australia, Willy Willy, UPSC has already asked a PYQ on this Willy Willy things, all that. Willy Willy, Australia, tropical cyclones. They are getting, they're involved in convection. Now there are terms: conduction, convection, radiation, advection. These terms are also important. Conduction is what? Like in my time, you people were not born. There was a movie, Whom? Touch me, don't touch me, Sony. Keki used to sing this song. That means please touch me. Then he was ambivalent, like cognitive dissonance. You read in ethics. So he was like sometimes touch me, sometimes don't touch me. So and conduction here, heat transfer happens via touch. So it's water or milk is boiling and you touch that particular can or whatever, then heat transfer will happen. That is conduction. Convection is vertical movement. Heat transfer is happening. Let's say air is warm near the ground, so that warm air will be lighter. It will move up and it will warm the above cooler air. That is vertical movement. Convection. Advection is horizontal movement. You see land bridge, sea bridge forming, so horizontal movement. Radiation is when you don't require a medium for propagation of heat and all, like energy which we're getting from sun, that is traveling through vacuum. So that is radiation. Any hot object emits a lot of radiation. I will give you an example. Let's say real life example. Let's say you're sitting in a room. You're a girl, you're sitting in a room. There are 10 hot boys in the room. So what will happen? These hot boys, they will emit radiation. You'll feel like, oh my god, this is so hot. No, that's so wrong. You eat chili again. Let's give you a simple example because you people are not yet adults. You're less than 18, so I should not make these jokes. So let's say you are sitting in a room which is fully packed. You feel like, oh my god, this is so hot. AC is not working. Keep it AC, keep AC at 18. You say those stupid stuff again. And when the people are lesser, even if the AC is running at 26, it's fine. So that is radiation. You don't need a medium for that. Any hot object, they will emit electromagnetic waves. They don't require a medium for propagation. That is radiation. So here, when we talk about cyclones, they moist air rises, cool condenses, and then they fall down as rainfall. So convection is working here, vertical movement of air. Remember this part. Coriolis force is needed. So how will you understand Coriolis force? So there is a merry-go-round when you people are still child. So when you go to any park and all, amusement park. So there is a merry-go-round. It is going round, round, round. So if you go there, you will also be moving. So think of Earth rotation as like that. Earth is rotating and you will be rotating in certain direction. And the force which is generated there is Coriolis force. And they do certain stuff. They are needed. Coriolis force is so much needed for cyclones to happen. They are not there at the equator, weak near the equator, so cyclones rarely form within 5 degree north to 5 degrees south. And this Coriolis force, they revolve bodies, like I will show you here. You see this. They revolve bodies counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. Remember these points, they are actually important. So, what we are talking about. Cyclones begin as an area of low pressure. There's an eye there in cyclone, which is somewhat like very calm and all. Warm sea surface temperature. What are the conditions which are required? You can use this in your mains answer also. Moisture rises. Convection is at work here. They can say conduction is at work. Advection is at work. No, convection is the major factor at work in cyclone formation. Coriolis forces needed, and we have talked about the points. Structure well-defined center called eye form. So here we're talking about the static part, of geography surrounded by eye wall where the highest or the strongest winds and heaviest rainfall occur. They can tell you this. They can change this. They can say that eye is the region where strongest wind and heaviest rainfall occur. That would be wrong. Eye wall is that particular region. Classification based on wind and blah blah blah. They are classified into depression. You can read all these things, and supercyclonic storm. This is important. Coriolis force, deflection of moving objects. As we have discussed, merry-go-round, you'll be deflected in different directions. Same you can think of, and that force which you're seeing in a merry-go-round, you can compare Coriolis force with that. Earth is rotating, and it deflects objects via a particular force which is known as Coriolis force. It does not create motion, changes the direction of motion. What is those motion? Direction counterclockwise in northern hemisphere, clockwise in southern hemisphere. You can pause this video, you can have a look at it. If you feel like I'm going too fast, you can watch me at 0.75. If you think that I'm too slow, you can watch me at 1.25. Both kind of problems I have faced in my lifetime, guys. I'm telling you. People are saying, you're so fast. Then the other people will write in the comment section, no, sir, you're slow. I watched you at 2. I'm not that slow that you can watch me at 2, but still. Wind patterns are clockwise in northern hemisphere, anti-clockwise in southern hemisphere. This is wrong. It's exact opposite. Anti-clockwise in northern and clockwise in southern. So that means A is false, R is true, D is the answer. Wow, guys, please be serious, okay? Wow. Then conduction, convection, advection, radiation. The definition. These are important. This will even help you in science and tech. So science and tech, geography, everything is merging here. Oh my god, look at that. No. Oh my god, look at that question. Conduction is transfer of heat by direct molecular contact. As KK would say in Dhoom, touch me, don't touch me. That is conduction. So A is 3. Whoa, guys. A and D you're left with now. Convection, vertical transfer. Vertical, vertical. So the answer is A. Wah, 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 wah. Na, 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 re, na, re. Which one of the following pair is correctly matched? Conduction? No, not conduction here. Convection is the main process in cloud formation. B is the answer. Wah, wah, wah. Advection is horizontal movement. Radiation does not require a physical medium. So the answer is B. This is a good question. Like in Tanu vs Manu 2, again, in our time there was a movie, guys, Tanu vs Manu 2. There was a guy, he said, this is a good question, but your question hurt me. So that was a good question. Why do tropical cyclones rarely form near the equator? Because Coriolis force is very weak or zero. 3rd November 2025, expert join hands for Ramsar site tag for wetlands in Assam Century. Ramsar sites, total Ramsar sites as of January 2026 is 98, guys. Again, you people can watch this video in May, 2 days before pre. So if the numbers have changed, please write it in the comment section for the benefit of other people also. As our Honorable PM Sir says, Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas Sabka Prayas, and 1718 more Sabkas. Whoa, guys. Please don't do badmashi, okay? So now 98 wetlands. With Ramsar site. Ramsar is in Iran. Convention happened in early 1970s. Wetland. What are these wetlands? Romari Dondua wetland complex. So wetlands is a transition zone between terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem, which is very diverse because it can support even the organisms which are living on lands, organisms which are living in water. So it's very diverse. It's very ecologically niche and very rich in diversity, so to say. So what Assam government, they are saying that they want this Romari Dondua wetland in Ramsar site list. It is not there. You know, in from northeast you have two Ramsar sites, the Porbil and Loktak Lake. They on both UPSC PYQs have been asked to solve them. Loktak Lake, Phumdi is floating vegetation. UPSC has asked PYQs on that. So yes, sir. Raw Mari Dondua, whatever like bird species are there in Deepor and Loktak, more bird species are there in this Raw Mari Dondua wetland, which is lie under Loh Hawa Wildlife Sanctuary, part of Kaziranga Tiger Reserve. Let me show you. It is in Assam, Nagaon district. I lived in Assam, guys. Awesome place. So you see this Loh Hawa Wildlife Sanctuary in Nagaon, Kaziranga National Park, Orang National Park. In between, you have Loh Hawa Wildlife Sanctuary. I used to live in Guwahati, Bhangagad. Such good days. Guwahati is such a good place, man. If you have economic opportunities in Northeast, nothing is better than Northeast. I love it. I love it so much. Northeast is in my heart. Guys, please focus here. So, Romari Dondua, complex lies you can see here, serve as a crucial connectivity corridor we have just seen between Kaziranga and Orang National Park. And this way, you're also remembering Orang is in Assam, if you don't know already. Romari has more bird species than Dipor and Loktak, so it has a valid point why it should be included in Ramsar sites. Sixth Kaziranga waterbird census, this is a substantiation of that point. 20,000, more than 20,600 birds of 75 species. Dondua Bill, 26,000. You can see how many birds are there. Assam Forest Department, they have submitted a proposal that Raw Mari Dondua wetland complex should be designated a Ramsar site. When any particular wetland is designated a Ramsar site, it does not mean they're saying that you cannot do any fish catching and all. They're saying that it should be used, like you can use it sustainably, don't use it in a restless manner, but at the same time we will also preserve it. Let's say Deepor Bill is under Ramsar site, people do fishing in Deepor Bill, sometimes even flooding of rice flooding and all those cultivation also happens in nearby region, but it's not like total blanket ban on different kind of things. No, sustainable use you can do. At the same time we will also preserve it. That's why bringing a wetland under Ramsar site is a win-win scenario. PYQ, India is a party to Ramsar Convention, declared many areas as Ramsar site. Which of the following statement best describes as to how we should maintain these sites in the context of these conventions? Chepandi, Chepandi, Chepandi. Conserve all sites through ecosystem approach and allow their simultaneous sustainable use. D is the answer, guys. It's a good question, revise it. Which of the following statement best describes a Ramsar site? Chepandis, no, not Chepandis, B. A wetland site recognized as being of international importance under 1971 convention. 23rd, 6th November, in Brazil, COP30 and Movement of Truth. See who has written this article. Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, President of Brazil. He has written this article. COP30 is happening in Belém, Brazil. COP30 of what? UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. COP30 is happening, and here he will talk about certain things which are important. He was talking about how deforestation has reduced in Amazon rainforest, and Belém Summit, Brazilian Amazon. Cop of Truth, and he will talk about some new things which they are planning to bring. And then he's talking about the Rio Summit, which I have already told you. See, Lula sir, Lula, I love you, Lula sir. The Upiria Dipoina, UNFCCC, CVD, and he's talking about from this Rio Summit, these three organizations emerged, which is playing a crucial role in different arenas. Since then, global goals like ending deforestation 2030 and all these things have emerged. So, Brazil has always been a fulcrum of these kind of summits, environmental conservation. That's what Lula sir is saying, President of Brazil. COP30 Amazon location, you can see this. Now he's talking about common but differentiated responsibility. Developed countries, they're already developed, they've already emitted a lot of carbon. So they should allow global south, countries of southern hemisphere, Latin American, South American countries, African countries, Asian countries to develop. And they should also give them finance so that we focus on adaptation as well as mitigation efforts. Whoa, guys. Brazil has halved Amazon deforestation, and now he's talking about something which is very important here. See this. Tropical Forest Forever Facility. What is this? This is talking about if in a tropical region, what is tropical region? Lying between 23-degree north and 23-degree south, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. In that particular region, that is tropical region, right? If I'm wrong, do write in the comment section, guys. So if you are conserving forest, if you're doing afforestation on a large scale, you should be awarded. You should be given some money. So it is an investment fund. Reward nations that preserve forest. Not all forest, tropical forest. We're focusing on tropical forest, guys. So he's saying that Brazil will contribute $1 billion to this fund, and other people are also invited. So this is a proposed fund, Tropical Forest Forever Facility. Do remember the aim. What is the aim? Reward nations that preserve forest. All type of forest? No. Tropical forest. If you see this, this is the official website. Tropical Forest Forever Facility. What should I do except all? So it's a once in a generation initiative set to launch at COP30 that seeks to secure the function of future of tropical forest, not all type of forest, tropical forest, innovative financing mechanism. Concept note, read more here. Should we read more? Cheaper D's, cheaper D's. So again, we know the basic rationale. It's still in the proposal phase. Let's see what happens to this. But do keep it in mind. They can tell you that it was proposed in this particular COP30, Belém, Brazil. Brazil is already doing good when it comes to renewable energy. They're doing very good in ethanol blending and all. 88% renewable electricity they already have. And they want a just transition, secure, equitable energy transition. This is also a new phrase which is gaining grounds these days, guys. What is just transition concept? Just transition means, yes, we will shift from non-renewable to renewable energy, but what about people who are involved in non-renewable sector, who are working in non-renewable sector? You should ensure that they are getting adequate jobs, employment in different arenas. That is just transition. We have to focus on that as well. Most vulnerable, you can read all these things. He's also talking about declaration on hunger, poverty, and climate deal. UN security, again he's saying that there should be a new body which should be created, UN Climate Change Council under UNGA, because UNSC is paralyzed and it's not preventing anything. So let's create under GA UN Climate Change Council for accountability and enforcement. Anyway, US has withdrawn from UNFCCC, so it has diluted the significance of UNFCCC, which we will talk about later on. But yeah, COP of Truth, COP30. Tropical Forest Forever Facility recently launched by Brazil aims to do what? Chepandis? Oh my god, sorry, sir. Functions as an investment fund rewarding forest conservation. PYQ UPSC 2016, it is based on your static knowledge, guys. What do you know about Paris Climate Deal? Revise. I think we have talked about Paris Climate Deal in part 1 also, but yes, you should revise and do option elimination. There can be some question in exam also where you will be like, oh my god, I am seeing this question for the first time. Don't worry, but you have to solve those questions. So the agreement, if we see, second is general statement, right? So second is correct. If second is correct, you're left with B, C, and D. So now let's, if we check, just give me a second, guys. So if we check this thing, developed countries acknowledge their historical responsibility, committed to donate not $1,000 billion, $100 billion. 1,000 is just too much. So third is wrong. If third is wrong, you got the answer. B2 only. Even if you don't know anything about first, it did not go into effect in 2017, 16 only. I think November 2016. So first is wrong. The answer is B2 only. Do option elimination. 1,000 billion a year is too much for developed countries. Now, since US has withdrawn, Maybe they will give even lesser, money, or maybe they will not give anything, because there is a herd mentality. If US is not giving money, they have withdrawn from UNFCCC. Why should not other countries follow the same principle of common but differentiated responsibility, or differentiated responsibility? It's primarily related to Chepandis. No, climate justice, recognizing varied responsibility blah, 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 between developed and developing countries. Stammering guys, PYQ UPSC 2016. This is the year, I think, in which they asked the biggest banana. UPSC was going berserk this year. Intended nationally determined contribution, sometimes seen in the news in the context of plan of action outlined by countries of the world to combat climate change. 24th most important article, 11th November 2025, Brahmaputra Tista River eroding land faster. So they are also, because of global warming, climate change, they are the levels rise, they do flooding in the nearby region. They create a landform which is known as char in that particular region. Before we talk about all these things, let's focus on Tista River for the time being, guys. If you see this map, you have to see this map like you see at Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, or Monica Bellucci photos. Guys, let's focus. So Tista River, Brahmaputra River, Yarlung Zangpo, Tibet. Tista River originating in Sikkim. Whoa. There is a river called Rangit, which is a tributary of Tista, and Tista directly does not flow into Bay of Bengal. It joins Brahmaputra in Bangladesh, where it is known as Jamuna, and then Brahmaputra flows into like Bay of Bengal along with Ganga and Meghana and all. So do remember these facts. Tista does not directly flow into Bay of Bengal. Tista does not originate at the same place where Brahmaputra originates. It originates in Sikkim. Rangit is a tributary of Tista River. These are some facts which are important. And when you're seeing this, look at all these rivers also. Gandak, Ghagra, Gomti, Kosi, west to east. They're going to ask you to arrange these tributaries also. Maps are very important, guys. So what this article is saying, they are saying that because of global warming, climate change, Brahmaputra, Tista rivers, they're eroding land faster. The nearby land regions, which are formed, char, temporary island formed by river sediments, they're highly unstable. Houses are built there, and then Brahmaputra swallows that particular region. And this is becoming more and more pronounced due to climate change, due to global warming. Brahmaputra originating in Himalayas, flowing to China, blah, 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 causing rapid land loss. And climate change, global warming has a major role to play in that. That's what this article is saying. World is focusing on COP30, Belém, Brazil. Bangladesh situation highlights the urgent need. Although it is seen that it is resilient, climate resilient, but still it is facing issues, climate impact issues. Melting Himalayan glaciers, flooding Brahmaputra, Tista exacerbate river flow and erosion. World Bank estimates 1 in 7 Bangladeshis could be displaced by climate related disasters by 2050. So we have to be wary of it. What is the important keyword here? Tista River. Where does it originate? Where does it flow? Does it flow directly into Bay of Bengal? The answer is no. All these things are important. One more thing which is very important here is you know the name. What is the name of Ganga in Bangladesh? Brahmaputra in Bangladesh. All these things are really, really, really important. PYQ UPSC 2017. Have a look at this question. Try to solve it with reference to river Tista. Source of river Tista is saying that this is wrong, not same as that of Brahmaputra. It's different. Source is different. So first is wrong. Now you're left with B and C. Don't check second, third. River Tista does not flow into Bay of Bengal. It just joined Brahmaputra. It does not flow into Bay of Bengal. So third is wrong. So the answer is B2 only. Good question. Goody goody good. With reference to char, we have just discussed what is char. Temporary island. It does not remain stable. It's very unstable. Because of the frequent water change in Brahmaputra and Teesta now. So second is wrong. Eliminate second. You'll be left with A, 1 and 3 only. You can go back and you can see the article. 25th November 2025, India braces for disruption of air travel after Ethiopia's Haile Gubi volcano erupts. So Haile Gubi, or Haile Gubi, my Ethiopian friends who means preparing for UPSC, pardon me for the pronunciation part. So this is Haile Gubi. This is located at East African Rift, guys. East African Rift, which is a divergent plate boundary. What is a divergent plate boundary? Where different plates, like there is African plate, Nubian plate, and then there is another African plate, Somalian plate. They're going away from each other. You have Arabian plate also here. So they are going away from each other. That is divergent plate boundary. So, and here you have Haile Gubbi volcano located on divergent plate boundary. Do remember these words: divergent plate boundary, convergent plate boundary, transform plate boundary or something. Tell me something. So volcanic ash is erupting. Ash, Ravichandran Ashwin. Ash. No. So ash from Ethiopia's Haile Gubbi volcano eruption Sunday is drifting towards mainland India. It can create risk for aviation and all, and that's why we are issuing instruction. So now Haile Gubbi becomes really important, not impotent. So ash movement. Ravichandran Ashwin sir is moving towards. You can read all these things in your free time. What is important here is Highly could be. Where is it located? Is it located on a in convergent boundary, divergent boundary, transform boundary, divergent boundary? Which kind of divergent boundary? Nubian and Somalian plate and all. Remember this. Let's solve some questions that will help you in remembering stuff in a much better manner. I'm trying to say. It is located in Ethiopia within the East African Rift System. Very correct. So your rift with ANC. Region around the volcano is tectonically active due to divergence of African plate into Nubian and Somali plates. That is also correct. So the answer is C. East African Rift, where Haile Gubbi volcano is located, is an example of divergent plate boundary. B is the answer. You can pause me whenever you see the question, then you try to solve it. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Spread the word. You're your own competition. You're not competing with anybody else. Always try to be better than what you were yesterday. If I'm adding to your knowledge base, you can always donate. If you need this PDF, you can send me a WhatsApp message at the same number. Take care, be blessed, and I will see you soon.
Hello everyone, my name is Shubham Sagar and today we have to do Environment and Geography Part 350 most important current affairs. So up until now, Environment and Geography we have done 25 most important current affairs, the rest 25 we have to do. This is Part 3. Oh my god, look at that. Part 3, as Nicki Minaj would say. Who is Nicki Minaj? That you people don't have to know. You are not 18 plus yet. So my name is Shubham Sagar. You can connect with me on LinkedIn and become a really good boy or really good girl. This is my Telegram channel. You can join this Telegram channel. I share Hindu analysis PDF Monday to Saturday. I share those PDFs in this Telegram channel. 26th article. US has exited from UNFCCC. They have exited from like 60 odd organizations, but for like our importance, like they have exited from UNFCCC, International Solar Alliance. What will be the implication? So whenever you're reading them, at the same time. So US exit from UNFCCC. We need fund. They were providing us fund. They were a part of a developed country. Now who will give fund? There are different funding mechanism. What am I writing? So fund is a major criteria in both the cases, FCCC as well as ISA. Let's focus on means United Nations Framework on Climate Change, UNFCCC. UNFCCC, UNCBD, CCD, all three emerged out of Rio Summit of 1992 that I have told you almost 18,644 trillion times, right? So 66 organizations they have withdrawn. US is becoming more and more insular in nature. So what are the things which are important? So you can see it's a core governing framework, blah, blah, blah. We know these things. Paris Agreement, since they are withdrawing from UNFCCC, the most important agreement out of different COPs, we are talking about COP 30, Belém, Brazil. Most important COP is this Paris Agreement, which is via which people are or countries are setting their NDCs, nationally determined contributions. So now they have withdrawn from UNFCCC, they have withdrawn from Paris Agreement. They are no longer entitled, like they don't need to set any carbon emission reduction target, etc. What impression is it leaving for other countries, developed countries, if they also start leaving, leaving UNFCCC, who will provide fund to, let's say, Green Climate Fund? So there are two institutions, Global Environment Facility, Green Climate Fund. In both US was providing fund. Now money will be a factor. First of all, let's talk about all these important keywords. IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, established 1988, WMO and UNEP. So what they do, I think in 2007 around, they have also got a Nobel Prize. So there are different research papers, they assess them and then they publish their own report. So it's not like, they are making something, there are different scientific papers which get published throughout the world. So they go through them and then they publish their own reports, IPCC report. Cool. What else? Global Environment Facility, important. So it provides funds to UNFCCC, CBD, CCD, Minamata. Now this is important, guys. They can directly ask you. Minamata Convention is associated with what? Stockholm Convention is associated with what? There's also Stockholm Syndrome, POP, persistent organic pollutants which don't die down. DDT, dichloro, diphenyl, trichloroethane. So Global Environment Facility, it's an old organization. Even like established 1991. We talk about Rio Summit 1992. After that, these UNFCCC organization, etc. came. It's a very old organization, Global Environment Facility, but they help these entities. It's not a part of UN. Keep it in mind. Headquarter, Washington DC. The next one is Green Climate Fund, which has been created later on under COP, under UNFCCC. As we have seen, this particular organization, this is not under UN, so to say, it's an institution. It will give you money. In return, they will take some interest, etc. So yeah, but on the other hand, Green Climate Fund, it works under UNFCCC, established at COP 16 Cancun. Cancun is in Mexico. Headquarter is there in Incheon, South Korea. Remember these factors, guys. And mitigation and adaptation, 50-50 weightage. What is mitigation and adaptation? Adaptation. World is changing. Temperature is increasing. We have to adapt to it. That is adaptation. Mitigation, carbon sequestration measures. We have to create carbon sinks. We have to reduce CO2. We have to reduce carbon footprint. These will come under mitigation. Adaptation, we are adapting to the changes. So focus 50-50 on both of Green Climate Fund. Remember these factors, remember their headquarters, they are important. Because of US withdrawal, these organizations will be impacted, their funding will be impacted. US scientist participation in these climate related fora, that will be impacted, although they can participate as observers, etc., etc. So what is important in this article, guys? Global Environment Facility, please revise it. These are very tricky areas. Global Environment Facility, Green Climate Fund. If you don't revise it, you will not remember stuff, and that's why you have to go through these things multiple number of times. Cool, cool, cool. So now, and what the major impact is, what impression is it setting for other countries? It can encourage reluctant governments to delay or dilute action. American scientists, they may still contribute, but yeah, slowly and gradually, US is becoming more and more insular in nature. That's what we are understanding here. We need a lot of fun. We need a lot of fun when we talk about climate finance, and that fund gap is continuously increasing. There is common but differentiated responsibility. Developed countries, they have already developed, right? So developing countries, they still need to develop. So somebody has to provide us money if they want us to transition to cleaner sources, because carbon, etc., coal emission, coal power plants, they are cheaper for us. So if you want to go if you want us to go to expensive sources, variable sources, intermittent sources like solar, wind, you have to provide us fund. But now from where will that fund come? That is another question which we are asking here. Let's solve some questions so that you can understand what is important and what is not. Most important part here is IPCC, Global Environment Facility, Green Climate Fund. You have to revise them multiple number of times, guys. If a country withdraws from UNFCCC, what happens? Withdrawal from Paris Agreement, obviously it's one of the COP of UNFCCC. So first is correct. Loss of voting and negotiating rights. Yes, you can be an observer, but voting, etc., that is gone. Continued obligation. Why will you submit greenhouse? That is the reason why you withdrawn, because you don't believe in this global warming. You want to emit whatever you want to emit. So there's no obligation. So A is the answer. MCQ2. Consider the following statement about Green Climate Fund. Established under UNFCCC. Yes, sir. Aim for balance at 50-50, mitigation and adaptation. So second is also correct, sir. Headquarter is in Incheon, South Korea, guys. Please be serious, okay? So third is wrong. Answer is A1 and 2, Incheon, and emerged out of Cancun Corp. PYQ3, UPSC 2014, Global Environment Facility, old organization. What it does? Serve as a financial mechanism for CBD, UNFCCC, etc. A. Minamata Convention on Mercury, Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants, all of them. Now see, this is called smart study. We have just seen UNFCCC, US withdrawal from UNFCCC, which published in Hindu on which day, guys? Just give me a second. 16th January. Same, at the same time, this is parallel study. You read about US withdrawal from Solar Alliance, also International Solar Alliance, emerged in 2015. Like India and France, they are the leaders. Headquarters is in Gurugram. So initially it was open for countries lying between two tropics, Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Later on it was open to all, but it's not like all the countries are member. There are some countries, many countries then are not member of ISA. US has also exited. Again, funding will be an issue. India is fine. This article is saying that India is not going to be impacted much, because even solar equipments and all, China, we are more dependent on China, not US. But the funding part will be a major part, and it will impact poor African countries who need funding related to solar energy, etc. It will be impacting them more compared to India. For India, it is a challenge. We are the leader. But now the challenge is much more bigger for us to become a better leader of Global South via this International Solar Alliance. Headquarters is in Gurugram. So we are becoming a leader when it comes to solar energy. We were representing Global South. Even after US withdrawal, that is not going to change. ISA established in 2015. What is the work? They are not building solar power plants, etc. They facilitate finance, risk reduction, faster solar deployment. Like it's like RBI. RBI is not giving you direct loan. RBI will help commercial banks do stuff. Same way, ISA will help other entities build solar power plants, etc. They will help you. They will act as a regulating entity. 120 plus member countries, mainly across blah blah blah. US joined late, contributed. See, this is the part where we will miss US. They have contributed $2.1 million, and maybe this is the reason, because Donald Trump is a businessman. He's not liking why US is contributing so much. So, but again, even though $2.1 million, it is only 1.1% of ISA's total funds. So we, again, this article is saying that India is not going to be impacted much. We do not depend on US for solar panels. For that, we are dependent on China, so to say, global solar manufacturing. And slowly and gradually, we are expanding our own capacity as well. Impact on investment, solar investment. We have a domestic demand. We have PM Kusum, PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. We have so many things which is generating domestic demand, solar rooftops, solar pumps, and whatnot. So it's not like we want US as a funding source, no. But yes, whatever money US was contributing, that was going to help all the countries where solar energy was supposed to be tapped. So yeah, poor countries, African countries, they'll be impacted a lot. So the main economic risk is outside India, especially in Africa, blah, blah, blah. ISA is a key. You can read all these things. What is important? ISA 2015. Initially, countries between two tropics, Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, later open to all, but not all countries are members. So remember these facts. US has withdrawn from UNFCCC, but not ISA. They will write. That will be wrong. Withdrawn from both UNFCCC, International Solar Alliance, and 60 plus more organizations. Let's solve some questions so that you can remember stuff, guys. ISA launched at UN, yes, 2015. Not all countries, even though after 2020, 21, it has been open to all, not all the countries are members. So the answer is A, one only. MCQ 5, functions of ISA. They don't themselves build utility solar power plants, they help, they are facilitator. So third is wrong, eliminate third, you will get the answer A, 1, 2, and 4. Whoa, guys. Intent and outcome. So now this is about climate budget. Budget has been passed in February. What is there in the budget for environment sector? So here we are focusing on green hydrogen. There are 5 areas where we are focusing per se. And what are those 5 areas? Let's talk about them. Chapandis. Chapandis means one by one. How much money we are like PM Kusum is a focus area, Surya Ghar, Muft Bijli Yojana and all. So union budget increasingly reflected, you can see here. I'm not reading all these things. So what is the key focus? 5 areas. Hard to abate industry. What are these hard to abate industries? If you go through my Hindu analysis, we talk about it a lot. There are certain sectors where you can introduce solar energy and all, and they will directly start contributing to reduction in energy. But in certain arenas, in certain industries, cement, steel, in their chemical production stuff or process only, they are emitting carbon, limestone, etc. It is being used. So in the core process, CO2 is released. So just by using electricity derived from solar energy, etc., it is not going to reduce CO2 emission, because it's a hard to abate industry. Their core process involves CO2 emission. So that is one area where we are focusing on. And here we want to focus on CCUS, carbon capture, utilization, and storage. Where, because these hard to abate industries, because they will be releasing carbon, so we have to capture them, maybe utilize it for something, or maybe we have to store it underground. Decentralized solar powers and solar irrigation pumps. So this is pump is PM Kusum, Kishan Urja Suraksha Evam Utthana Mahabhiyan. It was launched around 2018-2019. See the exact year. Decentralized solar power. It is PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. So here we are focusing on solar rooftops. 2024 scheme it is. Green hydrogen, generating hydrogen using renewable energy. H2O, you do electrolysis, you get H2 plus O2, balance it out. So this whole electrolysis of water which you're doing using renewable energy, that is green hydrogen. So that is our focus. And then nuclear energy, because we want to get 100 gigawatt of nuclear energy by 2047. So for that, what we are doing, there are so many nuclear equipments, raw materials which we import. So we have reduced import duty to zero till 2035. So all these things we are doing in our budget. Oh my god. So CCUS, this whole thing, 20,000 crore for hard to abate industry, it is in the pilot phase right now. We will see how it works for hard to abate industries, and if it works good, then we will extend it. Why we are introducing it in pilot phase? Because remember, we have just had a FTA with EU, European Union, Free Trade Agreement. Under EU, there is something called a CBAM, Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, or something like that. So they're very strict about carbon emission and all. So we want to show you that we are very serious about reduction in carbon emission, and that's why we are coming up with CCUS, or coming up with CCUS, especially for hard to abate industry. Impact of EU, again, that's what we were discussing. EU, they are like, see, understand, EU has very tough, stringent criterias when it comes to carbon emissions. And but so sometimes the developed, like these countries, EU countries, the companies there, they will try to take loophole of the developing countries where environment norms are a little bit lethargic, so they will do production there. EU is like, even if you're doing that and you're bringing those goods back to EU, we will see, how much carbon they were using, and will impose tariffs on them. That tariff will vary in carbon border adjustment mechanism. So they're very strict about this carbon emission, and maybe that is one of the reasons why we have come up with CCUS. Rooftop solar push, PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana 2024, where they're giving you subsidy for rooftop solars and all those stuff. So that is good. Solar irrigation, PM Kusum Abhiyan, Kusu, 2018-2019. So here, solar pumps. Earlier, farmers used to use diesel pumps and they used to waste a lot of electricity. Solar pumps will reduce, will ensure that you are producing electricity at the point of consumption, will reduce transmission distribution losses, will also reduce electricity wastage and all. So yeah, solar irrigation, and then if you have surplus electricity, sell it. PM Kusum, nuclear energy measures. We have discussed 100 gigawatt nuclear capacity by 2047. For that, zero basic custom duty on nuclear. Remember this. These are specific provision of this budget. So zero basic custom duty on nuclear power plant equipments. Green hydrogen, it's still like policy, actual spending is modest, but this is one of the 5 core areas. So yeah, we are focusing on it, but we still have a long way to go. Now let's see some questions based on static portion also, guys, because it's not like you have to only do current affairs. Ecosystem, what is ecosystem? Simple. See, community of organism together with the environment in which they live. Very good. PYQ 7, what describes not only the physical space occupied by an organism but also its functional role in the community? That is ecological niche B. MCQ 8, CCUS, capturing CO2 emission before they enter the atmosphere. Yes, sir. Mainly relevant for sectors where emission arise from chemical production, hard to abate industries. India's budget allocation, not immediate large-scale industrial deployment. It's in the pilot phase. It's not in immediate large-scale industrial deployment. So third is wrong. Eliminate it. You're left with A and C. Check the second one. Second one is correct. So the answer is A, 1 and 2 only. PM Kusum, solarization of electrical pumps, installation of decentralized solar power plants, replacement of diesel electric pumps. Let's say you're confused about something. We know it's about solarization of agriculture pumps, solar pumps. So first has to be correct. D gone. We know it is replacing diesel pump. They used to waste a lot of electricity and all. So third is also correct. So now there is only one option, C. 1, 2 and 3. Wow, this is how option elimination works. PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, residential rooftop solar installation. Really correct. Reduce transmission losses. What? Yes, because you're consuming at the same place where you are producing. Generally, when you're consuming at coal power plant and then you are transferring it here, there, everywhere, then transmission and distribution loss happens. So second is also correct. Focuses, no, not does not focus on industrial solar parks. It's about residential houses, rooftop solar installation, residential rooftop. So third is wrong. A. Cheap on D's. Hop on, hop off the state of climate governance. CK Mishra. So they are saying that here we will talk about Kyoto Protocol, guys. Kyoto, Paris Climate Deal, and also there are meeting parties of Kyoto and Paris Agreement. Paris Agreement, we already know a lot of stuff, UNFCCC and all. So CMP and CMA, do remember, these are meeting bodies or meeting parties. Meeting parties. So meeting party of Kyoto Protocol, CMP, meeting party of Paris Agreement, CMA. Now, before we talk about all these things, let's first of all talk about Kyoto Protocol, which posed restrictions on developed countries. And that's why it failed. Because developed countries was like, why are you pinpointing us only? Pinpoint developing countries also. Maybe put lesser restrictions for them. But they did not. So 1997 Kyoto, Japan, under UNFCCC. So first global agreement imposed legally binding targets for developed countries, not developing. Remember these facts. Adopted 97, became entered into force 2005. Aim, reduce GHG emissions. They will say reduce ozone layer. No. For ozone, they have different protocol, Montreal Protocol. Build on CBDR, same principle on which even Paris Agreement works. Developed nation must take the lead because they have already developed, they have already done carbon emission in the past. Legally binding targets for industrialization nations and X1 nations. 5% below 1990 emission level during the first commitment period. There were 2 periods, commitment periods. Second period was almost a failure, complete failure, 2013 to 2020. What does this mean? 1990 emission level. So let's say in 1990, you were emitting 100 units. So by 2012, you should emit 95 units. So that was the target set for them. The base year was 1990 from like which they were calculating. Then they were the first, Kyoto Protocol was the first which introduced the concept of carbon credit. What is carbon credit? So let's say there is a country which is doing afforestation, etc. So via that they will gain carbon credits because they are doing carbon sequestration, mitigation. So they will gain carbon credits. Now there is B country which is in need, which is generating a lot of carbon due to coal power plants. So they will buy these carbon credits from A, which is doing afforestation. All these things developed via Kyoto Protocol, clean development mechanism, project in developing countries to earn carbon credits. So let's say Japan. So Japan has to do some carbon emission. What they will start doing, they will support some Indian project on solar energy, etc., via which they can gain some carbon credit. Emission trading, countries could trade emission allowances. So one country, I have emission surplus, I did not emit, there is targets set aside for different countries, you know and I, like, my target was I can only use 100 units, but I only use 80 units. I have 20 units surplus, I can sell it to other country which needs it, which emitted 120 units. So this is emission trading. Joint implementation, like clean development mechanism, is for developing countries, projects in developing countries. Joint implementation, one developed country doing project in another developed country. So the difference between CDM and JI is developing and developed. Emission trading has nothing to do with countries, what they are. It's about trading. If you have surplus, give it to me. If I have surplus, I will give it to you. Do remember which protocol brought this concept of carbon credit for the first time? Kyoto Protocol. So these are some important things. Now let's move on to the article. So this article is saying that the world is all hopping on, hopping off. There's no strict obligations. Politics dominate, and again, everyone is focused on short-term behavior. Environment impacts. If you want to do something, it takes a lot of time. Nobody has time for that. Most citizens are focusing on daily survival skills. Climate change feel abstract until some disaster happen. Then you talk about it for some time, and then you forget about it. Because of all these things, nothing much is happening on the ground. Kyoto failed. Paris is struggling, but let's see what happens. But still, we need it. Even though it's struggling, we cannot replace UNFCCC because there is no organization which can be an actual replacement. Neither G7 nor G20. 1.5 degrees Celsius target, which we have made, from in like industrial, like 1850, 1900, around 1850 to 1900. If our Earth's average temperature was 18 degrees Celsius, I'm telling you a example, 18 degree. So currently it will cross 19.5 by early 2030s. So things are becoming dire. Climate finance is an issue. US is withdrawing from one nation, like one organization after other. Technology transfer is also key. Just transition. Now this is an important keyword. What is the meaning of just transition? Just transition means, yes, we will transition from coal power plants to solar energy, this and that. But at the same time, when you're doing it, ensure that the people who are working in coal power plants, they get something, they get some jobs in solar energy or wind energy. So that is just transition. That is also symbolic. But still, we need UNFCCC. No organization can replace UNFCCC, be G7, G20, blah, blah, blah. So yes, it is not collapsing per se, but it is not at a very rosy ground either. That's what this article is saying. The important point from this exam perspective is Kyoto Protocol, when it entered into force, for which countries it set target, who introduced carbon credit for the first time, Kyoto Protocol, difference between CDM, GI, remember these facts, they are important. PYQ, UPSC 2009, concept of carbon credit originated from Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto Protocol came into force years 2005, correct? Kyoto Protocol, no, it does not deal with ozone layer. Montreal Protocol deals with ozone layer. Kyoto Protocol deals with greenhouse gas or like these emissions, GHG emissions. So second is wrong, right? Second is wrong. So you're left with, check the third one. Methane as a greenhouse gas. Yes, it is more harmful than CO2. So B is the answer, 1 and 3. Just transition, I have told you. Fair and inclusive shift to low carbon economy, protecting workers and communities. You should provide them jobs. Which of the following correctly differentiates CMP and CMA? CMP governs Kyoto, CMA governs Paris. Meeting bodies. 30th article, 8 September 2020, or 8 December rather, 2025, grasslands. What is the basic rationale of this article? Grasslands, Chepandis lands, Chepo, guys. So grasslands, they were treated as wastelands during British period because they were like it's just grass here. But they are a very they're a very excellent source of carbon sink, guys. They absorb a lot of carbons, like trees. Most of the carbons which they are absorbing, it is above ground. But these grasslands or these grasses, they have very, deep roots and all. So most of the carbon is below ground, and they are an excellent sort of source of carbon sink. I'm stammering here. So it's not a wasteland, and that's what we have to understand. Britishers categorized them as Westland. We continued the same policy. No, they're not Westland. What is important here is we have a grassland called Bunny grassland in Gujarat. I always give one example. In our time, you people were not born. There was an actress, Kareena Kapoor. There was a movie of hers, मैं प्रेम की दीवानी हूँ, where she used to sing a song related to Bunny Grassland. Bunny, 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 re bunny. Prem Divani Bunny. That means I love Bunny Grassland. I love Bunny Grassland. I'm in love with Bunny Grassland. So Bunny Grassland is in Gujarat. Remember this. And many states now, they realize the importance of these grasslands. They are major carbon sink. I've already told you. They absorb more carbon than they emit. Bunny grassland, once Asia's largest tropical grassland, now degraded because of an invasive species, Prosopis juliflora. Julie, I love you na, oh Piriya Dipoina. There was a singer in our time, Kishore Kumar, 2 years younger than me. He used to sing these songs. So Prosopis juliflora, invasive species, basically of Central and Southern America, and they impacted our grassland. So we removed Prosopis juliflora via WADA system, community-led restoration system. Remember these terms. In our time, there was a song, Vada na tod, Vada na tod. That means don't break my promise, don't break my promise. So yeah, WADA system, WADA, community-led restoration system, which removed these invasive species. Bunny grassland, bunny, 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 Gujarat, like Kareena Kapoor would say. Muldhari pastoralists in this particular region. So you can see the terms which you have to keep in mind. IPCC we have just discussed. 1988, WMO is related to, associated with it, and they noticed that soil stored twice as much carbon as atmosphere plus biomass combined. These grassland soil, they are awesome. I love you grassland. Na upiriya di poina. I love you na pranam poina. Iti kuntadi prem ki. In our time there was an actor, guys, Allu Arjun. There was a movie of his, Arya 2, Chapandis 2. Which of the following statement about Prosopis Julie, I love you now? Okay, so invasive species introduced to India from Central and South America, that is correct. Improves biodiversity. No, it does not improve, it degrades biodiversity. That's what happened with our bunny grassland. So second is wrong. Eliminate second, you will get the answer A1 and 3. It negatively affects, yes. Bunny grassland restoration in Gujarat primarily involved removal of invasive Prosopis juliflora. PYQ 17. Now, this is a tricky question where you have to use your pre-existing knowledge as per UPSC in 2021. So, vegetation of savanna, like these grasslands, they have scattered small trees, but no trees in general. How? How this happens? Forest development in such areas is generally kept in check by certain conditions. What are those conditions? Choose the best option. What happens in these grasslands? You may hear about fire a lot. So fire keeps check on the growth of trees. So second has to be there. Now you're left with A and C. Just check third, fourth now. Choose the best option. Burrowing animals and termites you see in desert region. They grow, they remain inside because of the hot condition. Not in grassland per se. Grassland grazing herbivorous. These herbivorous, they graze on the grass and they also eat trees if they grow. So they also keep trees in check. So 2, 3, and 4 plus seasonal rainfall. They have a distinct hot and wet climate that also does not allow trees to grow. So 2, 3, 4, guys. See, good question, tricky question. MCQ 18. WADA system, WADA, Nato, don't break my promise. Community led rotational grazing and management. Guys, why you people sing so much songs? So much songs, so much. Much with songs, many. Why is a plant called Prosopis juliflora? Julie, I love you. Na upiriya dipoida. Prosopis juliflora, often mentioned in news, it tends to reduce the biodiversity in the area in which it grows. I mixed two songs. Julie, I love you. There's a Hindi song. And Nau Piriya Dipoina is an English or Telugu song from Arya 2. So B is the answer, guys. Telugu song. Focus on studies. Conservation practices in Global South undermine rights. 31st article. So here this article is talking about how in Global South, these organizations, they are like humans don't matter, tribal people don't matter, wildlife conservation does. No, we have to coexist. It's not either or scenario. In Chitwan National Park, remember, where is Chitwan? Nepal. They will give you it is in Russia. It is near Subham Sagar's house. No, it is in Nepal. So there was a guy, Shikharam Chaudhary. He died after being waterboarded because it felt like he had a rhino horn. What is waterboarding? So they will tie up your legs, your hands. They will put something on your head, and then they will put water over that something, that cloth and all. It seems like you will feel like you're drowning, and that death is worse than drowning. So that guy died. WWF, World Wildlife Fund, which is an international NGO, they were like, fine, we will not put any charges against rangers. WWF, World Wildlife Fund, international NGO, headquarters in Gland, Switzerland. 1960s, I think they were formed. Do check that out. And they are associated with something known as Earth Hour. At a particular day of the year, you switch off lights for 1 hour. That is Earth Hour. So remember these facts and figures and become a guji guys. And here then they're talking about how we are not looking into local people. This othering will not do. These tribal people, they have lived in those wilderness or with the wild people. So coexistence is the way to go. And why you are so concerned with global south and how people are living. So there is a discrimination when it comes to how they're treating people in global south and global north. So again, killing of Avni, you can read all these things. There were tribal people in Nagarhole National Park, Karnataka, part of Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. That is how you have to study from pre-perspective. Nagarhole, where it is, Karnataka, famous for tigers, you know, Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. And there is a tribe there in Nagarhole National Park, which is known as, I will just show you, Jenu Kurubas. Jenu, I think it means honey. So this is a tribe which collects honey, mainly in Karnataka. It is in southern India. Jenu Kurubas, they are protesting there. Van Gujars, they are protesting in Himalayas. Nobody is listening to them. Do remember Jenu Kurubas. They will say that Jenu Kurubas is there in Arunachal. No, Apatani tribes, they are there in Arunachal. So these facts, they are important, guys. We are extracting facts from prelims perspective in this article. Whoever, guys. So hope you are understanding the basic rationale of this article, what they are trying to say. Don't do either or. Coexistence is the name of the hour, and don't discriminate people of global south. I will kill you all. WWF. So yeah, consider the following statement regarding Earth Hour. It is not an initiative. I've told you, WWF. It's not World Wildlife Fund of Nature. Earlier it was World Wildlife Fund. So first is wrong. Eliminate first. Check the third. Movement to raise of yes. So C is the answer. Well, guys. Four-step framework proposed to include conservation. So there was some framework. And again, if you even if I have, you can read it in your free time. Four-step framework and 60 steps framework. So these are the four-step framework. Again, let's say you have not read this. You can read it in your free time. Even if you have not read it, if you see the options here, guys, Chepandis, guys, do you think militarization of forest protection can be a measure? Never. So D is the answer. Well, guys, sometimes this will happen in exam also. Some question will come out of the blue, then use your common sense. It's very difficult to apply common sense in a pressure cooker like situation, but you can do it because you people are Chepandis. Chepu తెలుసు లేదు కాదు. Expert panel set norms for religious sites and sanctuaries. So there was something was happening in Gujarat, Balaram Ambaji Wildlife Sanctuary, where they allowed some religious sites. So Balaram Ambaji Wildlife Sanctuary is in news. Remember where it is? Gujarat. So initially, Standing Committee of National Board for Wildlife. First of all, let's focus on these three things, guys. You have to understand the difference between NBWL, SCNBWL, and NTCA. NBWL under PM Sir. All three under WPA 1972, although NTCA amended in 2006. PM Sir. But PM Sir is very busy. He has to go to this country, that country, do Jadu Ki Jhappi and all. So SC and NBWL is the body subset which takes decision, which is led by MOEFCC, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Same MOEFCC is here also, NTCA also. Tiger, so Project Tiger and all, they are associated with that. NVWL, under that you have SC NVWL, NVWL, PM, SC NVWL, Environment Minister. Remember these facts and figures. Now let's come back to the article. So initially SC NVWL, they gave permission for these religious sites. July 2024, SC NVWL approved a proposal that Pramukh Sri Mukund Puriji Maharaj Seva Trust will be allowed. But then later on in October, they revoked that proposal. They were like, this is setting a dangerous precedent, man. Then land will be diverted for religious structures in other wildlife park and sanctuaries also. So we cannot do that. This will set a dangerous precedent. So it was set aside. What is important from exam perspective? NBWL, SC NBWL, NTCA, the difference between them, comparison, all these things are really important. How important? Really, really, really important. So Standing Committee of National Board for Wildlife, best described as executive subset of NBWL that examine proposals affecting protected areas. 23. National Board for Wildlife, statutory body under WPA, yes, all of them are. So just eliminates second, you're left with ACD, chaired by Union Minister for No, NBWL is PM. SCNBWL, Environment Minister. Second is wrong. You'll have to check the third one. Advice Central Government. Yes. So A is the answer. See, this is what I'm saying. That's why you have to be very, very wary about these three comparison. NBWL, SCNBWL, and NTCA, guys. Cheaper these guys. Cheaper than lead. Oh, hey, what happened here? Cool. Now one question out of the blue, just a static question. Revise it and solve. Try to solve it. Elephant, matriarchal society, leader is a female. Really correct. Maximum gast like in humans, 9 months. They carry babies for 22 months. So second is also correct. You're left with, oh, first and second both are correct. So the answer is A. Elephant can normally go on calving till 50-60 years. Highest elephant population Karnataka. Remember, you cannot make mistakes in the PYQs which they have already asked, guys. Like, share, and subscribe, spread the word, guys. If you want this particular PDF, you can send me a message at this particular number, or if you feel like I'm adding to your knowledge base, you can also donate at the same number. Guys, Chipandi Kumaris, Sapibharis, that means you people are really good. I love you now. Upiriadi. Just give me a second, guys. Hello, hello, Chepandays. Cool. Continue. So India EU partnership. We have talked about CBAM and all, carbon border adjustment mechanism. So here these two girls. First of all, let's have a look at these two people. They're very good. They're best. They're my best friends. That's why I'm stopping. So Shruti and Rachel. Oh my God, Rachel. So these two girls who are very good girls, they are talking about India-EU relationship. So some leaders were coming in on India's Republic Day. We are very happy about it. Why they are coming closer together. In our time, there was a song. Paas wo aane lage zara zara. That means two people are coming closer. Wow, wow. So India and EU, why they're coming closer? Because they have a common enemy now, US. Not exactly enemy, but not exactly friend either. So yeah, FTA has been signed now, and CBAM, remember, carbon border adjustment mechanism, we keep on talking about it. 20 to 35% carbon levy on Indian export, they will do that. But India was like, if you're giving concession to some other country, you have to give concession to us also. And what else? There are certain targets which you have to keep in mind. And then you can read all these things. The target is like EU, when do they want to become carbon neutral? 2050. When does India want to become carbon neutral? 2070. Remember these facts and figures. How many countries are there? 27. European Commission, executive or legislative body? Executive. So these facts, they are important. EU not used by all members? 20 out of 27, they're using it. This is the important part, guys, from environment perspective. Perspective. Carbon neutral by 2050, not 2070. This is the point which you have to keep in mind. Chip and days, guys. Now let's solve some questions. 2024. See these two statements. You may feel like I have never read this Net Zero Industry Act. You don't need to read this to solve this question. Read it again. They will not achieve carbon neutrality by 2040, 2050. So third is wrong. Only one option, C. So you got the answer. So again, sometimes based on your pre-existing knowledge, try to solve questions. And that's why I keep on telling people, solve a lot of MC, means FLTs, full length test. The more FLTs you solve, the more you understand how to approach exam. That will help you in actual exam rather than reading all the time. CBAM, what they do? Prevent carbon leakage by equalizing carbon cost between domestic and imported goods. Yes, in imported goods, some developing countries there is leeway in carbon emission, so CBM tried to adjust that. There's no fixed tariff rate. It is based on how much leeway is allowed in carbon emission in a particular developing country. So based on that, they will impose tariff. Hope you are understanding the basic rationale of CBAM. Let's say in Europe there is a country, means industry called A. Because in Europe there is tough standards, strict standards, so they will shift their base to, let's say, uh, any country, let's say Vietnam, because the carbon standards are lethargic, and then they will transfer their good back to their home country. Then CBM will be imposed on them. So it's not fixed, it varies. How much lethargy or how much Vietnam is allowing carbon emission will not be the same at which India will allow carbon emission. So these are variable, not a fixed tariff rate. So second is wrong. So the answer is B, 1 and 3. Revise CBAM, it's in news a lot. Wetlands as national public good. Why we are talking about it on 3rd February? Because February 2nd, 2026, Wetland, World Wetland Day. Wetland, transitional zone between, terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem, which is very rich in diversity. So when you talk about, species and their diversity, wetlands are very rich in that. They are known, there are different names of them. in Tamil Nadu, Kullam, Kerala, Kenny. So remember these facts. And they are highly threatened also because they are a transition zone between land and aquatic. So even land people utilize them or exploit them. Even they're utilized for water purposes. So yeah, and sometimes they are treated as STP, sewage treatment plants, because as somebody says, forests are, or Amazon, etc., they are lungs of the earth. So these wetlands, they are treated as the kidneys of the earth because they absorb heavy metals and excessive nutrients. So it doesn't mean you will treat them as sewage treatment plants. So that's what we have to look into. Wetland rules is there, but still we are losing wetlands for one reason or the other because they are on the transition zone. So land and again aquatic ecosystem, like they're suffering from both. Ramsar designation 98 site, Diporville, Assam. We have talked about Ramsar sites earlier also, and you can see, read all these points. More important from main's perspective. What is important from pre perspective? Wetlands, transition zone. Then what is the issue here? I have told you something interesting here. Why they are called kidneys of the earth? UPSC has already asked a PYQ on it. So they absorb heavy metals, excessive nutrients, and all. They are not sewage treatment plants. So these things we have to be looking into and we have to take care of. PYQ 27th question of the day, UPSC 2022. Rainforest, tropical forest, lungs, wetland functions as kidneys. Why? Because they absorb heavy metals and access nutrients. D. I think in part 1 we have talked about Ramsar wetlands. Wetland declared under Ramsar Convention are best described as, revise all the parts guys, wetlands managed under the concept of wise use. We are not saying will not use it, but use it in a sustainable manner so that you leave something for the future generation as well. You know? PYQ 29. Which of the following categories of protected areas is local people not allowed to collect and use biomass? Again, a question out of nowhere that can come in UPSC also. So they're talking about where you are not allowed, where the restriction is highest. National park restriction is highest. Biosphere, they both coexist because you have core zone, buffer zone, and transition zone. In transition zone, people can do stuff. Biosphere is generally a permutation and combination of different national park and wildlife sanctuaries, but there are zones. National park maximum restriction, so B is the answer. Could the near extinct Asiatic cheetah rewild Saudi Arabia? Cheetah, Kuno Palpur National Park. So now efforts are being made. They are extinct in Saudi Arabia also, to introduce them in Saudi Arabia. Cheetah, Asiatic cheetah, they are endangered, remember. But if you want Asiatic cheetah in your particular country, then what you have to do, you have to have their prey. Which preys, like ungulates. Ungulates are hoofed mammals. Hoofed mammals means who walk on their toes. So do remember ungulates, so who walk on their toes, hoofed mammals, hoofed mammals. So they are trying to reintroduce them. What is important from exam perspective? Cheetahs. So just like any wild cat, they also do, they also mark their territories via scent. They will do susu and they will mark their territories. Remember, so that is important. Cheetahs. Unlike big cats, they don't roar. Do not roar. These are some facts related to cheetahs which you have to keep in mind. Based on that, you can eliminate options and you can solve questions. So yes, they can ask you in which country cheetah reintroduction program has been talked about and all. So in Saudi Arabia, they are discussing. They can take it from Iran, but Asiatic cheetah, but they are in lesser number in Iran. Plus Saudi Arabia and Iran, they're not best of friends, to put it mildly. India's Project Cheetah, controversial. Many cheetahs have died, but Modi hai to mumkin hai. So let's see what happens next. PYQ. Lions do not have a particular breeding season. Let's say you don't know that. Leave it. Unlike most other cats, cheetahs do not roar. I have told you that is correct. So second is correct. Unlike male lions, male leopards do not proc. No, I have told you they do that. They do scent marking. They do susu and all. All big cats do that. So third is wrong. Third is wrong. You got the answer A1 and 2. Lions do not have a particular breeding season. They breed all through the year. A is the answer. Ungulates. They are the prey. Hoofed mammals, mostly herbivorous. Wow, guys. Next article, 36th. How the river Koshi shiftings, river Kosi, Sorrow of Bihar, keep on changing their pathway because they carry a lot of sediments. And because of that, people are talking about this embankment strategy, so to say, how far it is successful. We should not be doing embankments for such volatile rivers because they destroy embankment, they cause a lot of, you know, damage. 400 plus deaths reported in 33 lakh people affected in August 2008 floods. River of Sorrow, Sorrow of Bihar, originates in Tibet and Nepal. Now, let me show you first of all this map. Have a look at this map, guys. Kosi originates in Tibet, passes through Nepal, and then come to India. Do see these rivers: Gomti, Gagra, Ghandak, Kosi. They can tell you to arrange them from west to east how they are meeting with Ganges, Ganges, Ganges. So maps are really important. How important? Really, really Chipandis. No Chipandis. Just give me a second, guys. So yes, so this embankment strategy is not working where you are raising structures around these rivers. For somewhat calm rivers that can work, but for rivers which carry a lot of sediments like Kosi, this embankment system will not work. You have to live with these rivers. You have to accept the fact that flood will happen. So when the flood will happen, have proper warning system. Tell people to leave that particular region. They can come and resettle once the you know that season is gone, because you cannot control them via making these embankments. That is not going to happen. It will only worsen the matter. Kosi breached embankments, see how many years. So each monsoon they bring lots of sediments, and then they break embankments, causing a lot of destruction and deaths. That destruction and death will reduce if you accept the fact that they are here to stay. Living with flood approach you have to adopt. Embankment is not the solution. US has dismantled embankment. It doesn't mean embankment will not work anywhere. In western Himalayan rivers they may work, but in eastern Himalayan rivers, which are more volatile, carry a lot of sediments, you cannot have a one size fit all approach. You have to live with the flood. You have to have early warning system. People have to live that region, leave that region, go away from that region when the monsoon season arrives. So that has to be done. you know just raising embankment is not going to solve the issue. Cool. Why is Kosi called Sorrow Bihar? It has a tendency to change its course. Yes, river base rises over time due to heavy silt deposition. So you can also do desilting. Keep removing sediments from the bottom of the river. That can also help the matter rather than just raising embankment. So both the statements are correct. See both. Controlled natural flooding refers to allow a river to overflow and designated floodplains in a regulated manner. B. 34 UPSC 2024. I have told you, west to east arrange them. Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak and Kosi. B. If you look at the map, you will get the answer. 37th. Are methane emissions in India being missed? Yes, because methane is invisible. So it's very difficult to see from where they're emitted. From rice fields they're emitted, and also from these land fields they're emitted a lot. So what this article is saying that we can use two sources. We can use satellites, and then we can corroborate it with land data. In land data, these pollution control boards and local bodies, they have to come together if they want to curb methane emission. Also, we can use Govardhan mission via which we can convert these methane into biogas. So all these things this article is talking about, keep that point in mind. Methane is more potent than CO2. This is a PYQ. When we're solving a PYQ in Kyoto Protocol, we talked about this point. Yes, it is more potent than CO2. We keep on, our major focus is always on CO2, but we forget about methane. Don't do that. And eat less rice so that you are emitting less CO2, or less methane rather, CH4. Swachh Bharat mission is talking about all these things, but methane is invisible and mainly produced by decomposing organic waste in landfill. So if we look at these landfills, Pirana, Deonar and all, and we convert it into like biogas via Govardhan, or treat it, then we can reduce the amount of methane which is there in the environment. So you can do both satellite technology as well as ground related data. Combine satellite and ground actions. These landfills, Delhi, Mumbai, and Ahmedabad, Pirhana landfill in Ahmedabad, Kanjumarg in Mumbai, see how much they are emitting CH4. Satellite can detect hotspot, ground team can investigate. But that can only happen when local bodies and these pollution control boards, they are not operating separately. So they have to come together. One thing which you can also do is convert these methane into biogas via Govardhan scheme. Guys. They can ask you, what is the main aim of Govardhan scheme? Convert organic waste into biogas. Urban local bodies face coordination challenges in methane mitigation mainly due to institutional separation from pollution control boards. They are all working in silos. They have to come together. PYQ 37 UPSC 2022. Among the following crops, which one is the most important anthropogenic source of both methane and nitrous oxide? Rice. So eat less rice. Southern Ocean. So we have 5 oceans in the world, guys. Pacific, Atlantic, and Antarctic Ocean is the Southern Ocean, and this is the ocean which absorbs more CO2, most CO2 out of all 5. But Will it keep on doing that? That is the point which we are discussing here. So this article is saying that the Southern Ocean, Antarctic Ocean, it absorbs a lot of heat and CO2. But scientists believe that not, there will be a time when it will stop absorbing and it will start releasing it. But the real data is showing that no, there is a freshwater layer over the ocean because of some Antarctic ice melting, global warming, and rainfall. So this fresh water is trapping CO2 inside and not allowing it to come into the to the surface. But the freshwater layer is thinner. If it keeps on getting thinner and thinner, then CO2 will come to the ground, or come to the surface rather, and it will go into the atmosphere. So we have to look into it. What is important from exam perspective? Southern Ocean. Which ocean is called Southern Ocean? And which of the 5 ocean absorbs most amount of CO2? So these are some facts which you have to keep in mind. Consider the following statement about Southern Ocean. Absorb highest share of human emitted CO2 among the world's ocean. Yes, sir. Primarily located south of 60 degrees south latitude, Antarctic. Yes, sir. Plays a major role in regulating global climate. Yes, sir. All the options are correct. D, 1, 2, and 3, sir. 39. Most important, again, a static question. Fishing grounds of the world are found in the region where warm and cold oceanic currents meet. Oceanic currents, fast and directed movement of ocean water under the influence of various factors like temperature difference, pressure difference, salinity difference, etc. UPSC has already asked a PYQ on the basic definition of ocean currents. They are fast movement of ocean water, not slow. So remember these facts, they are important. Warm and cold oceanic currents. Uh, Make a map of the world, locate important oceanic currents. Wherever you have these cold oceanic currents, they have a desiccating effect. You have deserts and all. So yeah, locate them, important. So that's it from me, guys, for this part 3. Like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word. You are your own competition, not competing with anybody else. Just try to be better than what you were yesterday. If I'm adding to your knowledge base, you can donate at this number. If you want this PDF, you can send me a message at this same number. That's it from me. Take care, be blessed. I will see you soon. Hello everyone, Chipandi Kumaris, Sappe Baris, Chipandis, Chiputulsule Dukadu, guys. These words, they have no meaning, but still they have a lot of meaning. Guys, let's start. Let's not waste time, okay? Grow up. So today we have to do Environment and Geography Part 4. As Rahul Gandhi sir would say, Khatam, the end. That means up until now we have done 38 topics of environment and geography, 50 most important current affairs. We have to do 39 to 50 today. Chipandi Kumari, Sappe Bharis, without wasting any time. Let me see whether everything is fine or not. Everything is super, Chipandis. That means super awesome. Let's start the discussion without wasting any more time. Just give me a second, guys. I have OCD. OCD means I check a lot. I don't know, guys. Maybe this is a milder form of OCD. Maybe this is a bigger form of OCD. Okay, just give me a second. Hello, 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 hello. Check, 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 check. Cheku, cheku. So, okay, let's start. Part 4, Khatam the end. My name is, oh, I have told you my name. How many times I will tell you my name? This is me, Shubham Sagar. You can connect with me on LinkedIn and become a very good boy or very good girl. This is my Telegram channel. I do Hindu analysis Monday to Saturday. I share those Hindu analysis PDF in this Telegram channel. So you can join this channel. Whoa. 39th article, 10th March 2026, Musi Riverfront Development Project. Where is Musi? In our time, you people were not born. There was a song, Musi Musi Hai Si, De Malai Lai, Musi Musi Hai Si, Deo, Chiki Chiki Chipu. So Musi is a tributary of Krishna River. Wah. Bhima, Tungabhadra, all of these are tributaries of Krishna River. Musi flows through Hyderabad, and now they want to develop it because, currently it has become a sewage channel. Untreated waste is being dumped into this particular river. So Telangana government, they want to develop it, and that has led to certain chepandis. Chepandis means certain issue here. So Musi River flows for about 55 kilometers through Hyderabad, blah blah blah. It originates from two rivulets. Rivulets means small rivers. Musa and Isi becoming Musi, just like Varun plus Asi. When you people will grow up, become 18 plus, you will read ancient history. Varun plus Asi become Varanasi. So there was Varun river, Asi river, it became Varanasi. Focus. So most of the year it resembles an open sewage channel, and that is an issue, right? People are dumping, and industries are dumping their untreated waste. So government wants to develop it, Musi river, and it's seasonal in nature. It does not have enough water except the monsoon season. So what they want to do, they want to divert water from Godavari region. Again, if you go to the map, you will see Musi is here, and up ever Musi you will see Godavari. So they want to divert some of the water to Musi river so that Musi river remains becomes like somewhat like a perennial river. It has water all year round. Telangana government plans to rejuvenate and develop the Musi River, make the river perennial. Chepukumaris, Chipandis, Pebharis. Uh, okay, let me focus. So develop infrastructure, leisure spaces, shopping areas, heritage structure, blah blah blah. So what they have done is, like earlier when during monsoon season when flooding used to happen in Musi River, they created reservoir, Usman Sagar and Himayat Sagar. So now these rivers function as flood control system because during monsoon, Musi had a lot of water. It is in the non-monsoon periods when it does not have enough water. So key feature of the current project you can see here, water diversion plan. Because Musi does not have water all year round, they want to divert water from Godavari River and water will fill Usman Sagar, Himayat Sagar and then it will be released gradually into the Musi River. Again, we don't have to do PhD here. And also because industries are dumping their untreated waste, 31 STPs, sewage treatment plants will be, or they are proposed to be created. Cool. The problem here is now they want to develop Musi River front, so they will evict some people who are located along the river. And that's why people have started protesting. And that is the reason why we are hearing about this particular news, so to say. What is important from exam perspective? Musi is a tributary of which particular river? And that is one thing which you have to keep in mind. So you can see here, they also want to create world tallest Gandhi statue and it will be known as Gandhi Sarovar, this whole area. That's fine. Now they also want some money. And in principle, funding approval has been given by ADB, Asian Development Bank. This is important. I think in economy also or in IR, I have told you, you have to revise ADB, Asian Development Bank, NDB, New Development Bank, and then AIIB, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, all at the same time. So ADB, Asia Pacific region, 1960s it was created. Manila, Philippines is the headquarter. New Development Bank is BRICS Bank, Fortaleza Declaration, after that it came into picture. UPSC has asked PYQs on Fortaleza. AIIB, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank of China. So do a comparative analysis of ADB, NDB and AIIB, guys. That is important. So they have put some conditions for this Musi Riverfront Development Project. That is why it is called in principle approval. When that particular condition is being fulfilled, final approval will be given. It's still pending. But people are not happy. Resident activists and NGOs, they have formed a coalition like Mushi Jan Andolan because they are feeling like they will be evicted from that particular region. Land acquisition notices and all they have got in that particular region and people are not very happy. So that is one thing which you have to keep in mind. Gandhi Sarovar project associated with which river? Musi River. So these are some things which you have to keep in mind from exam perspective. Perspective. Musi River flows through the city of Hyderabad, originates from Anantagiri Hills in Telangana. It is a tributary of not Godavari but Krishna River. Water will be diverted from Godavari to Musi, but Musi is a tributary of Krishna. So third is wrong and the answer is A, 1 and 2 only. MCQ2, Asian Development Bank is best described as a regional development bank providing loans and assistance to Asia Pacific countries. Ice patches on melting glaciers. Next article, ice patches on melting glaciers, greater threat than thought. So what happened? Uttarakhand and all, they witness a lot of flash floods and cloud burst. Uttarkashi, Uttarakhand, it has happened. So people are, and researchers, they're studying about it. A study was done by ISRO and they studied this flash flood. Here there are terms, guys. There are different terms like nivation, like you have there is snow, there is we know about snow and ice and all, but do you know the basic difference between snow and ice? So there are terms which you have to keep in mind. So there is snow, then there is something called as, in between snow and ice, there is something called as, I will just show you that word, fern. So snow, fern, ice, you have to understand the difference between them. So first of all, whatever you're seeing snow falls, then snow solidifies and it becomes fern, and then fern solidifies further and it becomes ice. So you see the stages. You see the stages here: snow, then fern, then ice. And what has happened when you see these ice patches? That means snow and fern. So ice is at the lowest level. It is protected by fern and snow above. But what happens when the snow and the fern, which is above ice, it is removed? Then ice patches is left, and these ice patches are very vulnerable and they are prone to displaced from one place to another. They're prone to nivation. Nivation is erosion around snow patches due to freeze-thaw cycle. Fridge is when they're freezing, thaw is when they are melting, when temperature exceeds ever freezing point. So the reason why we are seeing these kind of flash flood in Dharali village, Uttarakhand, etc., and other regions around it is because of these ice patches, naked ice patches. Why we are calling it naked ice passage? Because they are devoid of the upper layer snow and the fern. Hope you're understanding what we are discussing here. Remember these terms, guys. What is nivation? What is the difference between snow, fern and ice? So the main cause of the flash flood was exposed ice patch on Srikanta glacier. So exposed ice patch means the above snow and fern, it has been removed, and it was in a nivation zone where alternate freeze and thaw cycles were happening, was going on, and the ice patch was very much vulnerable, so to say. Rising temperature, glacial retreat, deglaciation, exposed ice patches. And exposed ice is more unstable, as we have discussed, because they are devoid of the snow and the fern above it, and more prone to nivation, erosion around snow patches due to freeze thaw cycle. Why I'm continuously talking about this word? Because these words are actually important. You have to understand the basic difference between snow, fern and ice and all these terms. Exposed ice patches on the glacier before the flood were a warning sign of instability. So what we were discussing here. Yes, so you can read all these things. Similar ice patch collapses have been observed in Greenland and Canadian Arctic linked to climate warming. And again, the point here is we have to be identifying, we should be identifying these exposed ice patches so that we can limit these nivation phases, and we should be wary about it. We should know which are the areas which are actually more vulnerable when it comes to nivation and these exposed ice patches. So hope you understood the basic rationale of this article. They wanted you to know the basic difference between snow, fern and ice, what is nivation and all. So this is the basic summary. Scientists from ISRO, they studied flash flood in Dharali related to exposed ice patch, rising temperature, glacier melting, all these are exposing these ice patch, making them devoid of snow and fern, and these exposed ice patches are a new type of glacier hazard. So we need to study these exposed ice patches a lot. Climate warming is making Himalayan glaciers unstable, and better satellite monitoring is needed to prevent future disasters. The term nivation refers to what? Erosion beneath and around snow patches caused mainly by freeze-thaw processes. B. With reference to fern in glaciology or glaciology, what is it? It's just, oh my god, it is a stage between snow and fully formed glacier ice, correct? Helps insulate and stabilize the ice beneath it, yes. And forms only, no, it forms even in mountain glaciers and all. So it's not like it only forms in glacier region. So third is wrong. Eliminate third and you'll be getting the answer C1 and 2 only. Next, 41st article. Just give me a second, guys. So crabs in Silent Valley found displaying both male and female biological traits. Silent Valley National Park. First of all, let's focus on this. It is in Odisha, Silent Valley National Park, part of Nilgiri Biosphere Reserves. So generally what happens? Biosphere reserves, they are permutation and combinations of different national park and wildlife sanctuaries, so to say. So the Silent Valley, it is in Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, and it is located on Kunti Puja River. Remember these facts, guys. Kunti Puja, like which river it is located on. You have Corbett National Park, Ram Ganga River, Manas National Park, Manas River. Similarly, Silent Valley National Park, Kunti Puja River, lion-tailed macaw, famous species. Like we will talk about Aravikulam National Park, which is very famous for Nilgiri Tahar and Neela Kurinji plant, which blooms every 12 years. Similarly, Silent Valley National Park, famous for lion-tailed macaw. And if you know the IUCN status of this, you can post it in the comment section. So what has happened in this Silent Valley National Park, we have found a crab which shows both male and female characteristics. In ancient times, there were gods which used to show both these male and female characteristics. So the phenomena is known as gandromorphy, a rare condition where an organism displays both male and female characteristics on the same body. And this crab belongs to Vela curli. They had male reproductive structure, female reproductive openings, blah blah blah. Keep it in mind. Geological Survey of India. The study was conducted by Mappad College and Geological, and there is another word which is known as Zoological Survey of India. Both of their headquarters, GSI, is in Kolkata. Zoological also Kolkata and geological also Kolkata. So again, what are the things which are important? Silent Valley National Park, it is in news now. Revise it. And what is gandromorphy? That is also important. You have to understand the basic meaning of these terms. Let's solve some questions. PYQ 5 asked by UPSC 2013. Corbett National Park, Kaziranga, Silent Valley. Which of the pairs is correctly matched? Corbett National Park, not Ganga, Ram Ganga. Kaziranga National Park, not Manas. It is Manas National Park is located on Manas. Kaziranga National Park located on Brahmaputra. So you have to research on these national parks also, guys, which have been asked. Silent Valley National Park, Kunti Puja, we have just seen. So none of the pairs are correctly matched. The answer is D. Next article, 42nd, 24th March 2026. Hope builds for nations to save bird. This is Hudsonian Godwit. It is in Monomoy National Wildlife Refuge in Massachusetts, US. Remember this Monomoy National Wild. So this Hudsonian Godwit, the population is declining. Its population has declined by 95% in last 40 years it's because of three reasons. See this: threats, climate change, habitat disruption, agriculture changes. So they can adapt to one or two changes, but if all three are changing at the same time, that is what is leading to their decline. They cannot adapt to all these threats, right? And this is also one example of sixth mass extinction. In the last 100 years or so, many of the flora and fauna have gone extinct, and human induced changes are majorly responsible for it. So Hudsonian godwit and migration, it's a migratory shorebird traveling 30,000 kilometers annually. You can see all these terms. Population has declined, and now CMS is talking about it, Convention on Migratory Species, which talks about these kind of migratory animals, birds, aquatic species, and they want to conserve it. There are two appendix in this. You see this Convention on Migratory Species. It's also known as Bonn Convention. Bonn is in Germany. Conserve migratory species, which can be animals, marine species, terrestrial, marine, and birds. Two appendix, Appendix 1 and Appendix 2, like we talk about WPA 1972. There are schedules in that. Same way here, you have WPA 1972, 6 schedules, revise it. We have discussed it in the previous 3 parts of environment and geography as well. Appendix 1, highly endangered. Appendix 2, need cooperation. India is a party to CMS. It's not like it's mandatory and every country has to like follow each and every dictum of CMS, but yes, it's better if you follow because it will help in conserving these migratory species. Bonn Convention, CMS, they are both one and the same. Wow. So CMS meeting is happening on March 23 in Brazil to protect these endangered migratory species, and they will talk about it. So migration challenges, scientific concern, you can have a look at it. Role of CMS countries, protect endangered migratory species. Remember, this is not like binding on all the countries, but yes, it's expected that you adhere to what CMS is saying. PYQ6 UPSC 2018, the term sixth mass extinction, sixth mass, why we are reading it 2 times, is often mentioned in the news in the context of the discussion of mankind's over exploitation of resources, fragmentation, climate change. D is the answer, guys. MCQ 7, with reference to Convention on Migratory Species, it's not legally binding. It does not focus only on marine species, even terrestrial and all. It focuses on, and the answer is third, promote international cooperation. A. For judicial push for environmental CSR. So this article is saying that currently what is happening, corporate social responsibility. Corporates, they have certain social responsibility, health, education, environment, but they don't focus too much on environment because environment is mainly long term. So they invest most of their money in health sector and other education sector, but not on environment. If you see, I will give you some example. There are certain exceptions like Mahindra, ITC, Tata, Coca-Cola, which they have done some work in environmental sector, circular waste management, reducing, recycling and all. But more often than not, these are exceptions. These are not the norms. The companies, they prefer to spend their CSR mostly on education, health, social sectors. They don't want to invest it long term for ecological protection. CSR, companies using a part of their profits. How much of their profits? 2% of their average net profit on CSR activities, which can be used in education, healthcare, poverty, environment. This article is saying that they are not investing much on environment, and that's why government or Supreme Court rather, they have invoked Article 51A, which is fundamental duty, clause G, duty to protect environment. Do remember this also. They can ask you, duty to protect environment is a part of which particular article and all. So you have to keep it in mind. And they are saying that no, companies, you should invest even in environment. It's essential. It's not optional. You should not be bypassing it by investing only in education, healthcare. Although I don't agree with these things too much because I personally feel when companies, they are there for the profit motive, they're already providing jobs and all. If they start doing everything, education, healthcare, poverty and environment, what is the work of government then? why we have created government then. So I don't totally agree with CSR principle, but that is just my thought. You can agree to disagree with me. Remember the points which this article is saying. CSR spending heavily human centric, education, healthcare, rural development. You see, environment only getting 7 to 9% because they are there for the if you're investing in environment, you have to invest for the longer period. Long term projects are time consuming, skill intensive, so they go for the shortcuts. Overuse of Miyawaki plantation. Miyawaki plantation means you want to create some amount of dense or forest in urban areas. In small areas, you want to create dense forest. That is Miyawaki plantation. It worked well in Japan and all, but it's not like it's a one size fit all approach. You cannot do it or go beyond a certain extent. So Miyawaki plantation, remember it, UPSC has already asked questions on Miyawaki. PYQ8 UPSC 2022. The Miyawaki method is well known for the creation of mini forest in urban areas. See, Article 51A Clause G of Indian Constitution relates to fundamental duty to protect the environment. Which of the following best explains circular economy in waste management, recycling and reusing materials to minimize waste? Next, Article 44th, India raises clean energy ambitions with 60% non-fossil fuel power. So up until now, India has, set their NDCs, nationally determined contribution for UNFCCC. Target year was 2030. These were our existing targets: 50% installed power capacity from non-fossil sources, that is solar, wind, etc. We have exceeded that. 44% reduction in emission intensity. Emission intensity means intensity per unit of GDP. And here we are talking about 2005 levels. So in 2005, let's say we were emitting 100 units of carbon. So by 2030, it was the earlier aim, we will reach till 56 units, reduction of 44 units. Now we have done 47% reduction. Do remember, emission intensity is emission by divided by per unit of GDP, how much. So even if, let's say, your GDP is increasing at a much faster rate, then also emission intensity can reduce even if emission is increasing. Let me give you an example. Let's say your emission is 4 unit, GDP you're producing is 100. So here your emission intensity is 4%. Let's take another case. So let's take a case where your emission is 6 unit and your GDP you have produced is 200. So in this scenario, your emission intensity is 3%. So your emission intensity has reduced, although your absolute emission has actually increased. Why this emission intensity has reduced? Because your for the GDP which you're producing is also more. So it's not like if emission intensity reduces, it's always like the absolute emission is also reducing. Absolute emission can increase also. In that scenario also, emission intensity can reduce. You can see the scenarios here. Hope you're understanding. 44% reduction earlier was the target, now it is 47. 50% installed power capacity from non-fossil fuel sources, now it is 60%. And these targets have to be achieved by 2035. Earlier our target was 2030. Carbon sink, afforestation and all, which absorbs more carbon than the release, 2.5 to 3 billion ton CO2 equivalent. Earlier, like this was our 2030 target, now 3.5 to 4 billion tons. So these are the commitments. We were supposed to release these commitments by 2025 only. And out of 18, 20 G20 countries, Argentina and India, they have not submitted their targets. Now we have done that. India has done that. So there are many countries who are not very happy with India. They're like, you have exceeded 50% installed power capacity, but you're not generating enough from renewable sources or non-fossil fuel sources. You have to do more. And then we talk about common but differentiated responsibility. Developed countries, you have already developed to a certain extent. We still have to develop. So you cannot force us beyond a certain point. So our installed capacity is how much we can generate in an ideal scenario. But installed is not equal to real generation. Actual power generation is only 25% from non-fossil sources. Because there is intermittency, you cannot generate solar energy in night. There is storage problem. We have to have proper batteries for storing solar energy. So there are issues when it comes to the difference between installed and actual power generation when we are talking about non-fossil sources. Emission intensity reduced by 36%. Carbon sink we have created. Forest and tree covers, which is about carbon sink, it has increased from 21 to 24.6%. But there is a Green India mission which we have under NAPCC, National Action Plan on Climate Change. It has 8 missions. One of the mission is Green India mission. We have 33% forest cover. We're still away from that. 8 missions, guys. I have told you 1,000 times. The mnemonic is Sehwag HK. Remember it. So S is solar mission, E is national mission for enhanced energy efficiency, H is national mission for sustainable habitat, W is water mission, A is national mission for sustainable agriculture, G is green India mission, H is national mission for sustaining Himalayan ecosystem, and K is national mission for strategic knowledge on climate change. So do remember these 2035 targets. They are actually Valine Putin, Chipukumaris, Chipandis, Pibaris, guys. Just let's be serious. So MCQ 11. Consider the following statement regarding installed capacity and actual power generation. Installed capacity, maximum electricity that can be produced. Yes. Actual generation always equals. No, it does not always equal. So second is wrong. Check the B one. Third one. Renewable energy often have lower utilization due to intermittency. Yes. B. B1 and 3. Chapandis. MCQ 12. Which of the following best explains the term carbon sink? A mechanism, or not a mechanism, a natural or artificial reservoirs that absorb more carbon than it releases. Which consider the following statement about emission intensity measures emission per unit of GDP. Correct. Always do this. Eliminate options, which you know for sure this a particular statement is correct. If you know that, eliminate options. A reduction in emission intensity always means that total emissions are reducing. I've just told you no, not it always means that. So A is the answer. Second is wrong, and C is also not possible because second is wrong. A. Like and subscribe, guys. Spread the word. If I'm adding to your knowledge base, you can donate at this number. If you need these PDFs, you can send me a message at this particular number only. Next article, land encroachers out Nilgiri Tahas thrive in Chokramudi Hills. Chokramudi, part of Western Ghats and you know like Nilgiri Tahar, state animal of Tamil Nadu, endangered species in Chokramudi Hills. Nearby only you have Aravikulam National Park, and there you have Nilgiri Tahar, Neela Kurinji, which blossoms every 12 years. Nilgiri Tahar endangered, state animal of Tamil Nadu. And why this article we are reading? Because there was a person in Adimala in this particular region, Munnar, Kerala. He bought certain acres of land, divided it into plots for sale. Illegal road construction, etc. happened. Destruction of Neela Kurinji plants, blossoms every 12 years, and that's why residents were not happy. They formed this council, and then government gave some actions. They took away those lands, removal of encroachments, and now area is thriving with endangered Nilgiri Tahir and Neela Kurinji plants. Aravikulam National Park, not very far from here. These Nilgiri Tahat, Neela Kurinji, we associated with Western Ghats. Remember these facts, they are Veleen Putin. PYQ 14, UPSC 2010. Now here you have to use some of your existing knowledge to solve this question. And yeah, this is a tricky question. So Bhitarkanika, revise Bhitarkanika. It is famous for saltwater crocodile, Odisha. Desert National Park, Great Indian Bustard, Rajasthan. Eravikulam, we have just discussed. Western Ghats, not Hulog Gibbon, but Nilgiri Tahar. Hulog Gibbon is in northeastern states. Again, a tricky question, which also requires some amount of your static knowledge. So what is correct, guys? First is correct, second is correct, third is wrong. So the answer is B, 1 and 2 only. Chepandis. Which of the following statement about Nilgiri Tahar is correct? Not endemic to eastern western Ghats. Listed as endangered by IUCN, correct, state animal of Tamil Nadu. So first and third wrong. Answer is A, 2 only. Which of the following best describes Neela Kurinji, a flowering plant that blooms once in 12 years? See, counting people is not counting disaster risks. So this particular article, Ashwati Rachel, she's talking about Odisha. It's highly prone to, disasters and all. But what has happened in the current Finance Commission recommendations? For reading more about Finance Commission, you can, read Economy Part 3. There we have discussed, or about if 16 Finance Commission, the recommendation a lot, because we're talking about budget, so to say. So madam is saying, see, earlier how we used to calculate disaster risk index, there was additive method which we used to use. So earlier, disaster risk index, there is something called as DRI, where we see how much money we have to give to a particular state based on how vulnerable they are. So there are three index: hazard, exposure, and vulnerability. Earlier, before 16 Finance Commission, we used to follow additive method. Additive means we used to calculate hazard. Let's say hazard is of 3 category. Exposure, how much area is exposed to that hazard, let's say 5. And vulnerability, how much vulnerable the people of that particular region are, let's say it is 6. So we used to add them. But the problem was with this additive method was, let's say the exposure is 0, 0 people are exposed, then ideally there is no disaster risk index. If the hazard is there, if a cyclone is there, but there are no people in that region, so there is no vulnerability, so to say. If any one of them becomes 0, DRI should be 0. That's why we went for multiplicative disaster risk index, that if any one of them is 0, let's say exposure is 0, there are no people, then there is no concept of disaster risk index. 0 exposure or 0 vulnerability. People are not vulnerable, they are well enough, they can relocate to other areas. So if any one of them is 0, the whole DRI will become 0, and that's why we went for multiplicative disaster risk index. The problem here is this is fine, whatever we have shifted from additive to multiplicative, but the problem is here when we talk about exposure, we are including total population rather than population in a particular region, hazard prone areas. Because in exposure we are including total population, states which are not that hazardous, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, they are getting more funding, and Odisha is not getting that much funding. So hope you are understanding. The other thing is we are using per capita income of a state. So this is the point which we are talking about. Odisha is getting less funding, although it is more hazardous because you are taking total population rather than population in the hazardous zone. And then this vulnerability thing, how vulnerable they are. You are using the per capita NSDP. If a poorer state is there, they are more vulnerable. But you also have to look at housing quality, health infrastructure, right? Kerala suffered severe floods, but because they have high per capita NSDP, they got a low vulnerability score, and that's why they will get less money, or disaster related money funding. So that is wrong. That's what this article is saying. You went from additive risk disaster risk index to multiplicative disaster risk index, that's fine, but since you're using total population and since you're using per capita NSDP, because of that, what is happening, the states which are actually suffering from disasters, bearing the brunt of maximum disasters, let's say Odisha and Kerala, they're losing funds. Around 20 states lost funding share. Common traits of affected states: smaller population, higher average income, not necessarily safer states. So that's why something has to be done. We have to redefine vulnerability. We have to use population in hazard zone rather than total population. NDMA can publish an annual disaster vulnerability index. So hope you are understanding what this article is saying. You and what is the flaw with the current multiplicative disaster risk index phenomena. Disaster risk index adopted by 16th Finance Commission based on hazard into exposure into vulnerability B. Which of the following best describes per capita NSDP average income per person in a state D? PYQ UPSC 2013, again a static question based on Finance Commission and how it works. So which of the following shall cause every recommendation made by Finance Commission to be laid before each House of Parliament? President of India. Which of the following correctly explains a drawback of multiplicative disaster risk index? It may disproportionately favor states with larger population due to flawed exposure management, as we have just Chepandis, that means discussed. Failure of UP government opposition. So a tigress died in Dudhwa Tiger Reserve. So focus on the Tiger Reserve, guys. Dudhwa. It is in UP. Then there's Rajaji, Uttarakhand. Rajaji ke dudhwa toot jai. So Rajaji, like you can sing this song. In our time, there was a singer. You people were not born at that time. Pawan Singh. So Pawan Singh sang this song. Sang this song. Rajaji ke dudhwa toot jai. That means your heart will get broken. So Rajaji, Uttarakhand, and Dudhwa Dilwa, Uttar Pradesh. And what he wanted to say was, if you go to Rajaji National Park, your heart will get broken. Rajaji ke dilwa toot jai. So don't go to Rajaji National Park, don't get your heart broken. So Dudhwa, Uttar Pradesh, focus on these important national park, guys. Like Kanha National Park in Madhya Pradesh, famous for Barasingha swam deer. Even Dudhwa is famous for Barasingha swam deer. You can see here Satpura is there in Madhya Pradesh. So many, like Dampa Tiger Reserve, Mizoram UPSC has already asked PYQ. Then there's Gumti Century in Tripura, Saramati Peak in Nagaland, Kamlang. All these are very important. You have to have a look. Satkoshia in Odisha. Satkoshia Tiger Reserve, there was one time when there was zero tiger in Satkoshia Tiger Reserve. Check now also. I think even recently also, they don't have any tiger in Tiger Reserve. That's actually funny. So guys, let's focus. So what we were discussing, tiger has died in Dudhwa, so Dudhwa has come to news. NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Authority, we have discussed it in previous environment parts also. NTCA established under WP 1972, which was amended in 2005-2006. So it was established in 2005, around 2005-2006. Project Tiger, it was launched in 1970s. So Project Tiger is much before NTCA, but NTCA approves tiger conservation and tiger related plans. We have also done a comparative analysis of NTCA, NBWL, National Board for Wildlife, SCNBWL, Standing Committee for National Board of Wildlife in the previous part. So do revise that. Cool. So again, people are unhappy, oppositions are criticizing government and all those stuff. Tiger reserves, have a look at them, revise them. Dudhwa, Lakhimpur Kheri, near Indo-Nepal border, located in Tarai, Marshy region, and it has three components: National Dudhwa National Park, Kishanpur Wildlife Sanctuary, Katarni Ghat Wildlife Sanctuary. Keep it in mind. Tarai ecosystem also one of the best habitats for swam deer, Barasingha, which is also there in Kanha National Park. I think Kanha has, UPSC has already asked PYQ on that. NTCA, statutory body under WPA, correct, sir? Established before launch of Project Tiger. No, Project Tiger 1972-73. NTCA 2000s, 2005, 2006. So second is wrong. Approved Tiger Conservation Plan, yes, A, 1 and 3. PYQ 22. Dampa tiger is a Mizoram. Gumti, not in Sikkim. Tripura, I've just told you. Saramati Peak, Nagaland. Correct. 1 and 3. C. Dampa tiger reserves they ask, guys. That's why I've shown you this question. Dudhwa, Uttar Pradesh. Manas, Assam. Satpura is not Chhattisgarh, MP. So third is wrong. A is the answer. 1 and 2. चे पूछे पंडी हो जाई राजा जी के दिलवा guys focus राजा जी के दिलवा which of the following specifically associated with Tara ecosystem of Dudhwa tiger is a Barasingha swam deer. Do research on Macau, Nilgiri tiger and snow leopard also. Next article 48 elastic rules. So they are saying that plastic waste management rules, there is a total disregard. There is a concept of extended producer responsibility, which was actually introduced first by e-waste rule of 2011, electronic waste rule. So how will you remember extended producer responsibility? EPR starts with E, first introduced in e-waste rule, starts with E, 2011. And then it was extended for plastic waste management also. Extended producer responsibility means it's the responsibility of producers to manage, to recycle whatever plastics they're introducing in the market. And there was a target which was set by government. 35% they will recycle by 21-22, 70% by 22-23, 100% by 24-25. Currently, the target, whatever we are actually achieving is 50-60% recycling, not 100%, which has to be achieved by 24-25. We are in 26, you know. And now government has again diluted it. They are saying that if you're not able to achieve targets, you can achieve it unmet targets up to 3 years. So there is a dilution which is going on. Strict collection targets, you know, they're shifting from to use of recycled content, and slowly and gradually they are undermining the entire EPR framework. Why? Because plastic, there is no suitable alternative of plastic. It's very easy, it's cheap, flexible, widely usable. Even now, I know many of you, uh, I will tell you, there were so many people who, you people are also using plastic, although it's banned. I know, many of you, I don't know. Again, I don't want to go there. So you can understand why we are still using plastic, because it's cheap, although it's banned. So you can understand there's a paradox here. Plastic is indispensable yet environmentally harmful. But this dilution of whole thing of EPR is not, it will not help matter. But then what is the alternative? Give us a proper alternative of plastic, you know, so that people don't violate these rules. So they're just on paper, and that's why there's a word play in this editorial. It is not plastic rules, it is elastic rules. Oh my God. Hindu is so funny. I love you, Hindu na upiriyadi poina. I love you na pranam poina, as Allu Arjun would say in Arya 2. PYQ 25. Extended producer responsibility introduced as an important feature in e-waste management and handling rules 2011. MCQ 26, which of the following best explains EPR? Producers are responsible for post-consumer waste management. Raja ji ki dilwa toot jai. 49. Arrest aggrieve. Livelihood issues are at the heart of illegal sand mining. So, National Chambal Ghadial Sanctuary in 3 states, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh. Means Uttar Pradesh, Lotic ecosystem. Lotic is flowing water. Then there is something known as lentic ecosystem, guys. Lentic is still water. Chepandi is water. Cheputensu ledu kadu water. I speak like Shankar Mahadev and Chipandi Kumaris, guys. No more Chipandi Kumaris. So Lotic ecosystem, lentic ecosystem, remember these terms and become a very good boy. So this National Chamba Ghadial Sanctuary, it has Ghadial critically endangered. UPSC has already asked PYQs. You can get find Ghadial in Chambal River. Red crown roof turtle, Gangetic River dolphin, aquatic and national aquatic animal of India. Again, PYQ has been asked, endangered. And they depend, these species depend on sandbanks. Sandbanks is sand deposition along the banks or edges of the river. Sandbars within river channels, sand deposition. So do understand the difference between sandbanks and sandbars. So there is sand mining which happens in this region. Although it has been banned by NGT and Supreme Court, it goes on because there is not enough alternative opportunities for people living in this particular region. If you don't give them enough living opportunities, this is not very suitable for agriculture and all. So just banning sand mining will not do. That's what this article is saying. You have to provide them alternate livelihood opportunity. Otherwise, this whole thing will go on. You see, these mafias, they are employing local people as informants, GPS tracking, they're so sophisticated and advanced, semi-automatic weapons they are using. Forest guards, police are getting killed. This is becoming a big issue. So give some job opportunities for these local people. Otherwise, they will keep on supporting these mafias. Force alone is insufficient. You need alternative livelihoods for these locals. Otherwise, this issue you cannot curb. Lotic ecosystem, flowing water system like rivers. Guys, which of the following, where can you see Ghadials? Chambal River, Chambu Chambu. Do research on Bhitarkanika, Polikatan, Deeporbil, Assam, Deepu Deepu. PYQ 29, UPSC 2015, National Aquatic Animal, Gangetic Dolphin. Wow, guys, grow up. With reference to illegal sand mining, it can alter river morphologic collect. It has impact on biodiversity, so second is wrong. And it can lead to conflict and law and order issue, as we are seeing what is happening in Chambal region. A is the answer. Next article, Great Nicobar project, we have already discussed in the first part or second part. You can have a look at it. But here we'll solve so many PYQs. So latest article where government means this editorial is saying that maybe government has to rethink this project. They will may lead to extinction of so many species. It will lead to displacement of Nicobari and Shompen tribe, Nicobar Islands, PVTG tribe, particularly vulnerable tribal group. You already have Tri Command there in Andaman and Nicobars. And so what strategic and naval presence you are talking about, God knows, you already have presence there. You want to develop a port, transshipment port, port between source and destination port. You want to challenge Colombo port, you want to challenge Singapore port, but that's easier said than done. Colombo port, Singapore port, they're already so developed. You want to develop this port because it's very near to Malacca Strait, which connects Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean. If you see, Malacca Strait connects Andaman Sea with South China Sea. Malacca Strait, very close to Singapore. And if you see Great Nicobar, very close to Sumatra Island and all. So what I'm trying to say is, this article is saying that maybe you're overestimating the impact of this whole project. It's very difficult to challenge Singapore port or Colombo port. Maybe you can. You are talking about strategic and naval presence. You already have Tri Command there. So to rethink it, because the impact will be huge. You'll be displacing these people, Nicobari, Shompen people, extinction of species, flora and fauna. And it is also said that maybe you have not located them properly, you have not taken their permission, forest rights are not settled. We have discussed this in previous articles. You can go through it. So there are issues. Maybe government can rethink about it. There are cases pending in Calcutta High Court. NGT, they have allowed the project, but there are issues. There are so many issues related to this Great Nicobar project. So look at the map, guys. 10-degree channel separates Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Andaman and Nicobar Islands, you have all different kind of forest here. Evergreen, deciduous, swampy, you name it, you have it. You have it in this region, so to say. Look at the maps, they are important. We'll solve some questions. Shompen tribe, where do you find them? Nicobar Islands, PYQ, UPSC 2009, B is the answer. Which of the following is geographically closest to Great Nicobar? Sumatra. If you again go and look at Sumatra, Borneo, Java, you will realize Great Nicobar, Sumatra is closest. Cheepu, cheepu, cheepu. A is the answer. 33. Which of the following is separated from 10 degree, like each other by 10-degree channel? Andaman and Nicobar. Revise other degree channels also, guys. Why these questions? You can understand how important this Andaman and Nicobar region is. Which region has mangrove, evergreen, deciduous? Andaman and Nicobar. So this region is ecologically very rich. So yeah, government has to rethink this Great Nicobar project. Maybe they are overestimating the impact. So let's see what happens. Like, share, subscribe, guys. Spread the word. You are your own competition, not competing with anybody else. Just try to be better than what you were yesterday. If I'm adding to your knowledge base, you can donate at this number. And if you want these PDFs, you can send me a message at the same number. So that's it from me. Take care. Be blessed. I will see you soon.